Welcome to the Braylon Edwards Show with Shep.
Touchdown, Braylon Edwards.
Braylon Edwards, touchdown, Michigan.
Timing pattern to Edwards, touchdown, Michigan.
Where we bring you the best in sports, entertainment, and insight. Join us every weekday from 2 to 4 p.m. as we break down the latest games, analyze the biggest plays, and dive into the hottest topics in sports. We'll have exclusive interviews with your favorite athletes and guests, and you'll get a front row seat to all the action. So tune in to the Braylon Edwards Show with Shep.
Got one-on-one going end zone. Edwards in the air. Oh, what a catch by Braylon Edwards. His second touchdown of the game.
On the Woodward Sports Network, where sports comes to life.
Good afternoon, welcome in the Braylon Edwards Show with Shep. No Shep today, but we do have a familiar face, none other than the 2-0 Michigan State alum, Anson Wells. Anson, how you feeling, brother?
I put $2,000.
Not too much Michigan State off the top.
I put $2,000 on State being undefeated longer than Michigan. That's cap. I didn't bet anything on it, but it feels good. It feels good. You know what also feels good?
To have some new talent in the booth. I want to introduce everybody to Haley. Haley, what's going on in the audio booth? Welcome to the show. Braylon, I was excited to have you. What's going on?
Oh my God, I'm so good. I'm so happy to be here. First show working with you, so it's such a pleasure. And hey, I'm along for the ride, so.
She was out in Cali.
So you went to Cali, I went to Florida, so we got a little bit of that sun.
Oh,
I think we both brought it back to the state of Michigan because it's looking really nice outside.
Yes, sir.
You know what else is looking nice is looking to my right. It is my TD. My right hand, it is Kool-Aid. Kool-Aid, how you feeling?
Hey, what up, though, man? You know what? I'm feeling better now.
Okay.
I'm with my guy, Braylon. I see Anson in the building.
Yeah.
What up, though, Haley? Feeling good, bro. Ready to get this show going.
All right,
My
cool.
Pistons garb just for you, my friend.
This is how we're going to start
Love
this
that
show
shirt.
off, all right? I want everybody to take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. Blow it out.
Woosah.
One more. Deep breath. And blow it out. And that's what we want the Detroit Lions fans to do today. We'll talk about that in the next segment. Talk about 2 days after the loss to the Green Bay Packers. Where you at? Where you honestly at? I'll tell you where I'm at. We'll get Anson's thoughts on that.
Wait,
But,
is it Braylon or Brazen?
you know, it's Brazen.
Zen.
It's Brazen. What
I
is
like
it?
that.
That's actually a good commercial. It's Saquon Barkley has the Zen commercial. What is he, Zenquan Barkley or something
I
like
like
that?
this, man. Because, look, Lions
Right.
fans need it right now,
You need
man.
it.
They're
You
stressing
need
out.
it.
They're stressing
Yeah.
out.
Well, you know, we'll get to that. We'll figure out, 2 days, like I said, where are you with that? Also, we'll jump into the NFC North as a whole. We've had a week. We've seen the 4 teams. I want to assess where we want to rank these teams. Now, yes, the rankings. I get it. It's week 1. We will do rankings, have some fun. But before we get into that answer, there was a game tonight that features 2 quarterbacks, one in which you call JJ the guy, the truth, that could be something special, and another guy, Caleb Williams, that you call the catfish. Before we get into that, what did you see just from the teams? Quick overview of last night's game in which the Minnesota Vikings, with a 4-quarter comeback by J.J. McCarthy, beat Ben Johnson and the Chicago Bears.
Are you saying I can't start off with catfish versus the white Jaden Daniels talk? I have to talk about team stuff?
White Jaden Daniels.
He's the white Jaden Daniels. I told you all this. All right. I'm not allowed to talk quarterbacks yet.
Go ahead.
I'll play your game.
No, go into it. Talk about him.
Listen, I've been telling you guys all since January of last year that Jaden Daniels was the best quarterback in last year's unbelievable. I mean, really the best quarterback class since, what was it, 01? I think it was when all those guys came in.
04?
Oh, to me, this is the best quarterback class of this century. And J.J. McCarthy was number 2 out of those 6.
Not the one with Lamar and Pat Mahomes and Herbert?
That's close.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you, in 10 years, we're going to be talking about this class. Catfish Caleb Williams, supposedly this generational quarterback, number 1 out of all 6. I don't know how you slept on or disrespected Jaden the way you did, but what I saw in J.J. McCarthy from his time in Michigan to what I saw in just one preseason game to, again, what I saw last night. Last night was an absolute microcosm of the former Wolverines' career. A guy that came in, said that he couldn't do it, a guy that was given limited opportunity to do it and said, oh, he's not good enough. And then he went and won a national championship. Same thing we saw in the preseason game last year. First half, mistakes, turnovers. Adjustment, win. Domination. Same thing we saw last night. He struggled early out, but in that second half, it looked the same way he looked against Alabama, the same way he looked in the championship game against Washington. The guy was not going to be stopped. He was going to go out and make every single play that he needed to make to win that game last night. And he did. He did more than enough. What we saw is just scratching the surface with this guy. Now, on the other side of it, the catfish, oh, man, it was a perfect catfish game. You know, you get sent a fake video or a fake photo, and you hear a fake voice, and you get told these sweet nothings, and you're real excited when things are scripted. But then when football happened, when the ad-libs start becoming important, when you have to put your jock on the line and tell them whether or not, hey, I'm a real player or I'm a catfish. And all we saw for 3 quarters in that game was catfish garbage, catfish football. That last drive where he gets a touchdown, they were letting him have all of that. They knew they were up 2 scores. They knew they were getting back into that game. You look at his stat line, and you could be like, oh, look at his stat line. I saw a whole bunch of that stuff last year where he was bad for 3 quarters, bad for the first half of the fourth quarter. Oh, and then I'm going to Matt Stadford, however we say that one, pad those stats while you're coming from behind, no shot to win. This guy lost them their game. Ben Johnson dialed up all kinds of plays. He couldn't make the reads. He couldn't make the throws. And he folded like the catfish that he is.
I saw a slightly different game as it relates to J.J. McCarthy. I thought he did a tremendous job of staying poised. This is what J.J. does. He's done it at University of Michigan.
Very
he did it at the National Championship. He's done it in the playoffs. You saw him. When he loses games, he takes it in, and then he comes back the next game, and he usually responds in kind. But he was poised, and he has a coach that believes him. He has a coach that is the quarterback whisperer. I don't care. I don't want to hear anything about Jim Harbaugh. I don't want to hear anything about Sean McVay. I want to talk about Kevin O'Connell, whether it's Dobbs, whether it's Sam Darnold, whether it's J.J. McCarthy, whether it's Kirk Cousins. He can find a guy, figure him out, and have some success, and that's what you saw in the second half. I would say for McCarthy, though, lady and gentlemen, he had a running back. And that's what happened in the second half. That's what happened in the second half for the Minnesota Vikings is they got the run going through Jordan Mason. And once they did that, they were able to pass the ball. They were able to have some touchdowns, and they were able to open up the offense a little bit more. And also Kevin O'Connell started playing to JJ's strength, which Michigan forgot about, which is the fact that he can run the ball outside the pocket. So once he did that, he was catching them from different angles. He was able to run. They were able to run the ball, and he was able to get the passes out on the outside to Justin Jefferson. As it relates to Caleb Williams, appreciate you. As it relates to Caleb Williams, yes, there were a lot of plays that Caleb will want to have back. There were some things in which he did that allude to what you're talking about, him not being the one, but he also has a team with 3 new offensive linemen. And those guys last night, 12 penalties for 127 yards. That's what that Bears team, because 4 of them were on defense, but a lot of them were on offense. You can't have that. Joe Tooney, the guys that you brought in, the Jonah Jacksons, the All-Pros, the Pro Bowlers, those guys can't have 8 penalties on that offensive line. And also, the running back, last time I checked, is still DeAndre Swift, and he cannot run the ball. He did not run the ball efficiently yesterday. They had no running game. It looked very similar to another team, the Detroit Lions. With no running game, it's tough to pass the ball. So he looked great in the scripted 15, 100%. And then there were struggles for the rest of the game. I think that's the offensive line. That's congruency, and that's something that will get better, in my opinion. If you believe it about the Lions, why not about the Bears?
Well, I mean, that's a loaded question. I look at what the Bears did yesterday. They looked very similar to the team last year.
They were physical on defense, though.
Their defense was strong.
I know that. Can we talk about that? Both defenses were physical as hell last night. Brian Flores, he got that Minnesota Vikings defense going. That is a defense that we should be paying attention to. And also, there were some players that didn't even play for the Vikings as well as the Bears.
Well, you wouldn't let me go into the quarterbacks at first. I was going to do the football side of it, but I'll come back to that. I thought both defenses looked very, very good, very physical. But what I saw out of the Bears was reminiscent of the team that I saw last year under their joke of a head coach. They've got a new head coach. We won't say his name, but mistakes. But the big thing for me was the body language. You saw DJ Moore frustrated again throughout that game. There were times where there was not great protection for Caleb yet again. This is a guy that was on his ass over 60 times last year. This year, I saw him on his ass again. I saw the offensive lineman walking past him, not picking him up. And when you have those mistakes you talked about, those penalties from the offensive line and the miscues and things like that, you need a steadying influence. You need a Jared Goff or any of the other, serious quarterbacks here that are serious leaders of their team. We haven't seen that from Caleb at any point. They have an artificial, identity.
Okay.
They've created this identity based on their signings, based on Ben Johnson's offenses here, this generational quarterback. But Caleb has never shown me an identity out there. He's never created a presence that the rest of his team follows behind him. And without that, these mistakes, these miscues, they're going to continue to happen. And I'm telling you right now, at some point, you're going to see the relationship between Ben and Catfish absolutely crumble. Don't sleep on Tyson Bagent being under center if a game like last night continues to happen and show up throughout the season, because you can dial up scripted possessions.
Right.
That second half, when it goes to the wind and you got to figure things out on your own, I haven't seen that Caleb can do that.
No, I was just going to say, for a second day in a row now, we're talking about that identity word, and you guys are exactly right. With the Minnesota Vikings, it was more that same identity. For now, like a second year in a row, third year in a row, you can really pencil in exactly who they're going to be. And Kevin O'Connell, you got to tip the cap to him, because that team looked like they did not skip a beat. It looked like they knew exactly what they wanted and what they had in J.J. McCarthy. They worked with them last year and through the offseason, and that team looks like they're right back to their identity. As it relates to the Bears, I know the ideas that Ben Johnson probably has for them, but is your team makeup built for that? That's something that I think, the Lions have gotten so right is to this point. Their coaching, their strategy has matched very, very well with the personnel. And with the Bears, you love what the genius aspect that Ben Johnson can bring to them, but does your personnel actually fit?
Yeah, I'd be careful with the Caleb Williams and the Catfish and him letting you down. And if this happens, Tyler Baligian, because let's not act like Brian Flores isn't one of the best defensive coordinators in the league. Let's not act like this same defense, which got better, mind you, in the offseason, isn't a top 5 offense, which they were last year. They're a top 3 defense as of now. Let's not act like he didn't play against that defense. That's what he saw. It's going to take some time to find the identity. We're talking about Caleb Williams finding identity. What the hell is the identity of the Detroit Lions right now? Yeah. And oh, by the way, they've been at this for 5 years. Caleb Williams and his team, they'll settle into it. Was he special? Hell no. Was he bad? Maybe a little bit, but I think there's some time. You have to give it time for Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams and that offensive line to find some congruency, because if they can't run the ball, how did the Minnesota Vikings look in the first half when they were trying to force the ball with my fantasy running back, who, thank God, got me the win over Kool-Aid.
Ooh.
I was hoping he ain't say nothing, man. Get out of here.
Aaron Jones with the touchdown at the end of the game sealed Kool-Aid's fate. I have a horrible fantasy team, but it ain't about the team. It's about if you win, and I did win. But they were trying to force feed Aaron Jones early on in the game, and it was not working. They looked exactly like the Chicago Bears did. The difference is Ben Johnson has something, because what did that first drive feel like? I told you yesterday, Kool-Aid, and Haley, you weren't here. I said I'm a feel guy. Maybe it's the Pisces in me, but I like to feel things. In the Lions game, it didn't feel like they had anything going. It didn't feel like they had an identity. It didn't feel like they were going to get third downs and fourth downs. But last night on that first drive, Chicago Bears offense felt like something. It looked like something. So to be able to tap into that, that's a good sign for the Chicago Bears, at least in the opening of the game. Go ahead, Caleb.
Going back to Ben Johnson, in an interview during the preseason, I want to say it was J-Mo and Amon-Ra, they said that it was funny seeing Ben Johnson basically run the exact same plays that he did with the Lions. As assumingly Detroit Lions fans, all of us here, do we have a sort of undertone of bias towards Ben Johnson, or is it the type of thing where, Ben Johnson has those plays and he knows that they work, so why not use them with another team?
Bias? What?
In terms of not liking him.
There's a bias in this city against Osama Ben Johnson, Benedict Johnson, the man whose name we will not say. No, there's no bias in Detroit. Haley, you're crazy.
I feel you on that, but the Lions' first drive didn't look like the Chicago Bears' first drive.
All right, let's talk about first drives here, okay? Or actually, I'm on the wrong game here. I'm
Yeah,
on the
it's
Lions
okay.
game. Give me uno momento while I readjust here, guys, because this is really important. First play or first series, 3-yard pass, 8-yard pass, 4-yard run, 11-yard pass, 5-yard pass, 0-yard run, 17-yard pass, 7-yard pass, negative 3-yard run, 9-yard touchdown run on a scramble.
Yeah.
He didn't do anything special, Bray. He had a pre-programmed playlist.
Right.
And he didn't even have to do anything except for hit play. He didn't pause. He didn't fast forward. He didn't repeat a game or a song or anything like that. He just put in Ben's playlist, hit play, and said, I want to get paid for being the DJ today. But you got 3 more damn quarters where you have to do it on your own. And he absolutely did not do that. When he had to make big plays, when he had to get downfield, he was unable to do that. Now, again, when you're facing a cover 2 in the last 6 minutes of the game, this guy looks like an absolute wizard. But when the game is in tempo and you're out of that scripted first possession, he looks lost.
Yeah, you got to tone down some of your hate for Caleb because we can't even have a regular show. Like, at the end of the day, who cares? He's not a Detroit Lion. Calm down a little bit, Anson. Don't let it get you that riled up.
Oh, I'm not that riled up. I'm just very serious about it.
Okay, I'm very serious, too. What was the end result of that first drive? What was the end result?
Touchdown.
That's what the game is. It doesn't matter what it looks like. How many times did Ben Johnson lead Jared Goff where it didn't look great, but Jared Goff got the W? Like, it's about the W. And that being able to get that done on the first drive, they will figure the other things out. We can't be this judgmental about the Chicago Bears in game 1. Meanwhile, you're telling me that the Detroit Lions are still going to win the Super Bowl, that the Detroit Lions are still the team to beat, and they put that product out there this past Sunday. 2 things cannot be true.
Oh, they can be, but
they cannot be.
When I looked at that game, Bray, and I imagine you probably would say the same thing. That first drive, I was scared. I'm like, boy, we got a big game on our hands here next weekend at Ford Field, bringing in our former OC. Then I watched the rest of the game. Oh, it's the Bears. There they are with their catfish under
They do
center.
open up 5.5 point favorites.
Ooh, that went up from 4.5.
Shout out to Caesars.
So that went up because it was 4.5 on Sunday night.
And I would be a little bit cautious too, talking about the Bears next week because they won't be the same team.
I'll take that 5.5 points and bet either way I win.
That's fine. I'm just saying they will have 2 All-Pros that did not play last night back on the team.
I'm saying I'm taking the Bears.
Oh, there it is.
I made some money over the weekend on those Green Bay Packers.
TJ Edwards was out. He was back, and so is Jalen Johnson. His replacement got a pick 6, which J.J. McCarthy responded from. But this team will be a little bit different. I think got to give him a second to get it locked and loaded. Ben Johnson, give him a second. What did it look like when Dan Campbell first took over?
So, let's
wasn't the same type of team.
Let's shift over into Sunday. You ready?
Let's do it.
Okay. I'm gonna lead things off with a question that we were debating back in the back room. We brought it up on Sunday. This is a big
Save that question.
Save that
question. Just talk about.
All right. Well, I mean,
where are you 2 days after the game?
2 days after the game, I'm still 12 wins. Same thing I said. Remember when we went? I was trying to find the episode.
Yeah.
You took us through each week.
Yep.
Remember what I said? What would happen week 1?
Yeah, you said they lose.
That's right. And I'm not breaking from my 12 games. I believe that there's a disrespect for Dan Campbell and what he's able to do. This isn't a brand new team that he's got to try and figure out. Yeah. They got to figure out those issues. But hey, 36 minutes of possession to 25. They had more first downs. They held their offense to 250 total yards. If you took off the score from that box score, you'd be like, okay, Lions probably won this game. I don't believe that the Lions are that far off. I thought they'd lose that first week. I think they'll come home and they will handle the catfish-led Bears. The Lamar Jackson game is the big game. I believe they win that. Ooh. I believe that this loss on Sunday is just what the doctor ordered, not only to rile up everybody in Allen Park and knock the rust off that they refused to address during the preseason, but also to shake up these fair-weather, new money Lions fans that got on board the bandwagon last year and hopped off after week 1 this year. Yeah. So we are getting a feel for who is who, not only in the Lions uniforms, but also the people wearing their Lions starter jackets that they bought for Christmas, because you either are on board or you're not. And if you're scared off of one game, then you don't know the grit and resilience of this team started by Dan Campbell. I think this game is going to be a barn burner, not necessarily offensively high scoring or anything. It's going to be tight. It's going to be close. And it is going to mean so much to Lions fans that I don't think the Bears understand what they're about to walk into. Because if you think Matt Stafford had it bad, boy, Ben, you got something coming your way this weekend.
I don't think it's exactly just one game that people that are concerned about. I think it's two games, the last two, and I think it's how this last game particularly looked in midst of all the questions that we asked all season. Was it the rush in? Was it the offensive line? Was it the coordinators? What was it? All those questions on top of the last time they played, that's why people have concerns. Where are you at, Haley? Where's your level after 2 days, Lions losing the way in which they did to the Packers? Are you cool or are you concerned?
I'm concerned with Johnny Morton.
Okay.
There's been so much turnover, obviously, on the coordinator side, and I feel like Aaron Glenn was such a good leader in that sense. It's obviously still some growing pains that they need to fight through, I would say. I didn't lose hope entirely after one game, but I was definitely surprised, and maybe also because Hutch is back, I was so overhyped with that aspect that I was like, oh, no doubt they're going to be even better than last year. But then there was so much turnover on the other side of that that plays such a big part that I forgot to realize.
Hutch played?
Exactly.
Oh, no.
Come on, Hutch
bro.
played he played on Sunday?
Come on, bro. Coming back from off the leg injury and everything, it's like I can't even let you joke about it like that, man.
Boy, Kool-Aid.
I was happy to see
Get
him
that
out
cornbread
there.
out.
But you know who didn't play?
Marcus Davenport.
Oh, he was out there?
Is it Darius Smith?
Jared Goff, too, low-key.
The list goes on. Was Jahmyr Gibbs out there? Oh, he had 10 catches for 35 yards. My bad.
Pray it's over today.
Was Panay out there?
Well, wait a second. Was there a $27 million man out there, right? He was catching all kinds. I mean, he's on his way to 1,300 yards this year, right?
You can't block.
What did he put up?
You can't block.
He what 123? Oh, 23. My bad.
When you can't block somebody that runs 4.2, it doesn't matter because you can't block for them up front. This is where I'm at with the game right now. I've had 2 days to digest the game, see where I'm at. The thing that I said before the season was it's the talent. It's the talent. We talked about all these things. I'm not going to come up here after one loss, regardless of how bad a loss it was, a horrible loss. But I'm not going to come up here in week one and say, oh, you know what? It's over for these guys because I still believe in the talent and I still believe in the adversity. I believe that they were going to be a team that was better towards as the season went on. As the season ended, I think they're still that same team. But there are concerns. My concern is when you listen to Dan Campbell, he's back to that old Dan Campbell sounding a little bit flustered. He's back sounding a little bit defensive at the podium. I listened to him on the flagship earlier today. They asked him questions, and they're talking about everybody's talking about it. First of all, what is everybody talking about, Dan Campbell? The reason why everybody's talking about the offensive line is because of how it looked. It seemed like he got frustrated with that question. Don't get frustrated. Just answer the question. The frustration, the defense, lets me know that it's a bigger issue. Lets me know that it bothers him.
He's frustrated with the offensive line. So don't ask me about it.
100%. But, just that. They need to take a pause and calm down. Like when I played with the Jets in 2010, we played against the Baltimore Ravens, and they built this game up. It was the first time Rex had played against his former team. There you go. I forgot about that element. Rex is playing against the Ravens, which he was a defensive coordinator, playing against the Jets. It's in MetLife. We went to the AFC Championship last year. It's all this hype. They beat us 10-1. We played horrible on offense, like obviously, or not 10-1. Excuse me.
I was going to say, was
10
that
to
Canadian
3.
Football scoring?
100%. The extra point. No, it was 10-3. Played horrible on offense. Defense did their thing, but we looked bad. We didn't look like anything like coming into the season. The Hard Knocks. Well, they were on Hard Knocks. They're going to win the Super Bowl. They're the team. We didn't look like it. We had to dial back. And one of the things that Dan Campbell talked about is fixing mistakes, fixing some of the simple things, getting aligned, watching the film. These things take time, Anson, when you're coming into a season. It was game one of a 17-game season. It just cannot look like that again.
It was October 22nd, a cold day in 2023. The Detroit Lions went to Baltimore, got rolled up and smoked 38-6. How'd they respond? Well, they beat the Raiders 26-14.
Trash team.
Then they went to San Diego when they were still there.
Trash
the Chargers
team.
beat them 41-38. Then they beat the trash Bears 31-26. Now this is 2023. This is still finding their identity Lions. This team loves revenge. This team, well, they have lost 2 games in a row now because they did lose to Washington and they did lose week 1. Let's remember that. But this team doesn't lay down 2 weeks in a row. They take stuff like this as a jagged little pill. They hate it. They want to cough it up, and they're ready to do so next week. Right. This Sunday, these guys are going to come out because there's so much on the line, but there's so much more on the line.
But,
you heard Dan Campbell being asked, and he acquiesced the fact that it does spur him on that people say that he's not going to be as good without his coordinators.
Right.
We're going to see everything the Lions have. I'll say this, though. Lions come out and look the way that they did in week 1 at home to the Bears. The alarm and the paper bags, we'll be seeing them.
The one thing I hold against that example is 2 years ago, you just said it. Who was the offensive coordinator? Who was the defensive coordinator? Who was the center? Who was the right guard? You can't have that comparison from 2 years ago because that team no longer exists.
Well, but that was Ben Johnson's first year, and so
right.
you bring him in.
But what does his first year look like? Because last time I remember correctly, let me think about. Record breaking. So it didn't matter that it was his first year; it was record breaking. So you can't have that same example. I think they will be fine, but that's not why I think they'll be fine.
Well, they were 1-1 that year.
Yeah,
we could be 1-1 this year.
Fair,
and
we should be
again. That offensive line was a problem. You look at that near sack on the Monty push up the middle there. Whoever had the block just went in the wrong direction. Stuff that you didn't see with the veteran offensive line. If they can clean those up, I believe that there is enough talent in that line, in those young players, in Mahogany, and when we see Tate, that they'll clean that stuff up. That really, to me, was the only problem. Yeah, it took a little bit of time for the defense to get it going, but they figured it out. They looked really good in the second half, in my opinion. But if Jared Goff does not have time and this offensive line problem continues for 6 games, this might not be a playoff team.
And that's where, one of the things that stood out to me the most was, again, injuries on one front, as well as we talked about the Dogs being the one to help overcome the fact that there's going to be 2 new coordinators. All of the All-Pros on this team, all of the high-paid players, those guys got to bark a little bit more and bite a little bit more than we heard and then we saw in that first game. They just didn't, even on the field, the way that we see them when they're in Green Bay, it just didn't look right. The antics and all of that, it just wasn't there. There was something that wasn't right about that team. And you do wonder sometimes, because I know this, when you listen to Aaron Glenn, that guy is a master motivator. I don't know what his connection was, but you had players from all around the league say that that's the guy that they would play for if it wasn't for their current head coach.
No doubt.
When you look at
the Jets.
The mixture.
Huh? Look at the Jets this past weekend. Did they win? No. Did it look much better than anything they've
So
done in
different.
the last 10 years?
So
it looked
different.
completely different.
Absolutely.
The Jets look better than the Lions did.
Yeah.
Motivated.
That's what I'm
in terms
saying.
of the aesthetic, like watching it. No, they're not a better team. We'll destroy the Jets, but it looked better.
Cool.
Yeah.
Let
It
me
looked
ask you
more
this.
concise. It was less penalties. It was more discipline.
Exactly that, man. And it's like the other thing is this. You see why they paid Lee McNeil now.
Yeah.
If you didn't know before,
You know now.
There was a big Lee McNeil size hole in the middle of that line. I wonder how much easier would the transition be for Talik Williams and for Aiden Hutchinson coming back off injury if you had big Aleem there. Now that injury going from initially 4 games to open-ended a little bit, that to me is just a little bit
I think
concerning.
that's the biggest thing, and we'll get to commercial break because I got to tell you about this attorney that I quite know fondly. But look, this is the big thing. They will grow. They will get better.
Yeah.
This team will get better. We talked about it. It's going to be a long process. It's a long season. They'll get better at the season. They have Lee McNeil coming back. You saw how good he was last year. The only issue, the concern is the defensive lines that you play in the first 6 weeks may not allow you to get to week 10, week 12, week 13 when you're figuring out, because you got to play next week another good defensive line in the Chicago Bears, and they get 2 guys back. Then after that, you know who you play. You play the Baltimore Ravens, then you play Myles Garrett, and you play that defensive line, who didn't look that bad against Joe Burrow and the best offense in the league in terms of skill position-wise. Didn't look that bad. That's another defensive line you got to play. Then you got to play Chris Jones and the Kansas City Chiefs. And then last but not least, your sixth game, you got to go against Kalijah Kancey and Vita Vea. You don't necessarily have time to grow. You can be looking at, we'll go to commercial break. Let me tell you about Ben Johnson. Look, he is the attorney for you. Ben is the fighter, so let him fight for you. VenFights.com is where you can go to get all the questions that you need to get him answered, because he's the guy for you. Check this out, man. We're going to give you the VEN. Verify, engage, and notify. That's what you got to do. Step 1, you gather the details and you snap the photos. Step 2, you engage. You know how you engage? You call your attorney. That attorney should be Ben Johnson Law. Step 3, you notify. You let your insurance provider know. It's easy, man. It's VEN. Learn more about Ben Johnson at benjohnsonlaw.com.
Planet Fitness now has even more best-in-class strength equipment. Join today for $1 down and save.
We're stepping it up.
We're not slowing down.
Finding new face, new focus.
Love that new equipment smell.
So, you in?
Join the club today. Save when you join for just $1 down, $15 a month. Planet Fitness. We're all strong on this planet.
Why do we fight? We fight to protect the innocent, to hold the powerful accountable, to bring the oppressors to justice. Why do we fight? We fight to secure and preserve our civil liberties, to get each and every one of our clients the justice they deserve, and to make the lives of real people just like you whole again. VenFights.com.
Big injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon. Braylon Edwards and Shaq Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you. Head to WoodwardSports.com and click on Shop. Get the latest in Detroit sports apparel and exclusive Woodward sports gear. WoodwardSports.com can get the whole team outfitted. Love the Pistons, Red Wings, and Tigers? We got something for you, too. Shop online at WoodwardSports.com.
The best thing we're working out at Planet Fitness is, man, being able to change the routine on a daily or bi-weekly. The machines that they have, they import new machines almost once a month. You always got something new, whether it's chest, whether it's cardio, whether it's back, whatever you want, they got. Come to Planet Fitness, man, where your fitness is essential. And they have fitness that fits into your price point. Not trying to hit you over the head, not trying to take all the money out of your pocket, just enough to get you in shape where there's no judgment. Come on down to Planet Fitness where there are trainers on staff. Love working out there, man. It's a clean place. How clean? Squeaky clean. And the locker rooms is what I'm talking about. Planet Fitness, man, no judgment, squeaky clean lockers, and then there's a membership waiting with your name on it. Come down to Planet Fitness today.
Oh boy, Sundays in Detroit just got so much smoother with Sun Cruiser Vodka, iced tea, and of course, Woodward Sports Network. Real vodka, real iced tea, no bubbles, just a clean, crisp sip that won't fill you up on game day. Only 100 calories and 4.5% alcohol. Perfect for tailgates, couch gates, wherever you're watching Detroit football. This season, let the good times cruise with Sun Cruiser and Woodward Sports. And if you've been following us, we are all in love with Sun Cruiser. Please drink responsibly.
Welcome back to the second segment of the show, the Brother Nova Show with Shep. If you missed the first segment, what you need to know is, according to Anson, Caleb sucks. JJ's the rookie. Can't win rookie. Can he win Rookie of the Year? You can in basketball.
That's a good question.
Basketball, you can win Rookie of the Year in year 2 if you don't technically play.
In a regular season game.
He's in the league.
He didn't play a regular season game.
Yeah, he played this preseason last year.
He's in the league. 100%.
And then also, the Detroit Lions are still going to the Super Bowl. Kool-Aid, catch me up with the chat. What's going on in the chat? Because I really want to know, 2 days later, how was the chat? How you guys feeling? Are you overwhelmed? Are you cool? Are you zen-like? What are you at? What are you at?
I think some people are a little bit concerned with the run game. I'm salty, naturally salty about this. Says Gibbs looked like Barry did, running for his life for 2 yards. And then Mad Widget says, if we don't fix our O-line problem, we will 100% lose to the Bears. So the offensive line right now is a concern for people, and I do believe that ultimately is what's affecting the running performance of both David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs, or the lack thereof. That was, to me, was something that was just missing. You talked about it. We know how special he looked with David Montgomery. We know how even more special he looked without him. But what we saw this past Sunday, it left a whole lot more to be desired. So that's some of the concern that I see. If you guys want to at least give your comments on the offensive line and Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah, the first thing is, if you say he looks like Barry Sanders, then we have no problem. Because I saw Barry Sanders make $1,800 with nothing. Yeah, and this is no disrespect to what Kevin Glover and Lomas Brown were in 91, 92, 93. I saw Barry do that in 97. I saw him do it in 96. I saw him do so. If that's what it is, we cool.
And Barry had games where he had 20 yards.
We're cool. And then he had games where he had 220. That's right back. But the offensive line will get better. The problem is, like, you are legitimately revamping the interior line. I'm talking about left, middle, and right. Like, that takes time in the NFL, especially when you open up against the Green Bay Packers, who are already a pretty good defensive line. They had Rashawn Gary as a rush in who did some damage last year. But then you had Micah Parsons. And you can say how he played and all that. That's not what the conversation is about. That was a tough game for that offensive line. No Frank Ragnow. No Kevin Zeitler. And then you move Graham Glasgow to a position which he already told you. That's even more question. He said this is not the position he chooses. Right guard will be that position. So it's going to take some time to get better. The good news is you still got the backs. It's not like a situation where you had a great offense, you had a good offensive line, you had a really good offensive line and average backs. And now you don't have the line anymore and you still got the average backs. You had a great backfield, the number one backfield last year, and you still have those two guys. So eventually water will meet its level. I've seen it happen in the NFL time and time again. Week one is week one. Tate Rowledge will grow. Like I told you where he came from. He came from Georgia. He came from Kirby Smart. He got all the conversations from Penei Sewell, from Pat O'Connor, talking about what he was and can he be. He will get better. Graham Glasgow, he will settle into the role. And then Christian Mahogany, he will as well. It just takes time, and time may not be something to have.
Yeah, they're going to have to do some shuffling. There's some guys that are not playing the position that they'd like to.
Excuse me.
Yeah, they need patience. They need some reshuffling. Yeah. And they need a couple of wins. And I don't necessarily mean winning a game. I mean breaking off an 18-yard rush. You know, holding up the line and slowing the rush for that full 6 seconds where Jared Goff can allow that big play to happen. And all of a sudden you get an easy 7 put up on the board. And they're like, okay, I remember what this is like.
They need a play to remind them of what it was.
Who is that? Like, a player or a player?
They need two. One, in that huddle, you had Frank Ragnow, and that was the guy. Like, you say what you want to, that was the guy in that huddle. Who is the guy now in the huddle? And I know Penei Sewell gets it rocking and rolling. Before the games, he gets me hype, he gets me amped. But what is that huddle looking like? Like, who's making that noise? Because I love Amon-Ra St. Brown, and I know he is, but they're not listening to him because he's not blocking anybody. So who's that player in the huddle? Getting to the Chicago Bears game, they need a play. Because when they had that Sam Laporta play, when we kind of said, this is what it looks like. Here's the start. Okay, they figured it out. This is what it's going to look like, and then you don't get another one. They need a couple plays to remind them who they are and get into a rhythm, but it starts up front, and that offensive line has to be better going into this game. That needs to be the focus of the game. No MAs on that offensive line.
I was going to say, what about a player? Because you said plays. Yeah. What about a player? Steve Lehman says
player just got paid.
Too much Gibbs. Instead of 60-40 or 70-30, it felt more like 90-10 for Gibbs and Monty. Monty is more of the blocking back than Gibbs. And I assume he's also getting at the fact that how is that pocket for Jahmyr Gibbs on a play action or on a just straight drop back, and David Montgomery is the back that's in picking up that chip versus a Jahmyr Gibbs, who you're probably working to get into space a little bit quicker.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
that's a little bit of his concern too.
Yeah, and that's a fair question. It takes, once again, it's game one. It takes time. You know, this is not something. Johnny Morton, game one, coming in, seeing that, oh, shoot, this is not what I thought it was going to be, trying to make adjustments on the fly. Like, sometimes it can't happen in game one. Sometimes you got to be able to watch the film. This is what they're doing. This is what we're seeing. This is what we want to do. This is where they're more comfortable. So you'll see that this week. But to your point, if you know that this isn't working, Jahmyr Gibbs isn't the running back in that moment. That's what Ben Johnson was good at last year. Nope, this isn't his series. It is what it is. It's the conversation. Yeah. This is what it is. Nope. This is the back for this series. This is the back for this game. This is the back for this moment where we're at. And then we eventually get into Jahmyr, or we'll get into Amon-Ra St. Brown. But trust your instinct. If it's not working, don't stay in it. You see offensive coordinators too much sometimes. They just stay in something because they don't want to change. Like, it's going to work. It's going to work. It's going to work. When you see it's not working, sometimes you can just deviate. Let's switch it up.
And we saw Johnny Morton not deviate, in my opinion. I thought that the offense was a little stale. If there's a parallel I can draw between Hinch and Ben Johnson, was that they both have a great feel for their players in game. This isn't working. Adjust. I'm salty in the chat here as something interesting. Anthony Lynn.
It's always funny when it comes to I'm salty.
Anthony Lynn led offense, had 300-plus passing yards and 75-plus rushing yards in week one, yet he was fired 5 weeks later. Is there a scenario, gentlemen, where week 6 we have a different offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator in town? I mean, we've seen Dan quick with the hook in the past. Is that something that you could see happening this year?
That first situation is different. Let me not even worry, because it doesn't matter. Yes, we can.
I think so too.
Yes, we can, and the reason is because it's week 1, so I'm not saying anyone's getting fired. So don't clip this and say Braylon said Johnny Mo's getting fired after week 1. That's not what happened. What happened is Dan Campbell's very good at realizing who's not good as a coach and making decisions. We've seen him fire coaches after seasons. We've seen him part ways with coaches during the season. Most notably, like you said, Aaron Glenn, all be present. And he made these moves in season. He didn't think they were good enough, or he didn't think they fit the tune of what was going on at the time, and he made decisions. Dan Campbell's biggest credit for me as a coach, he is the smartest man at knowing what he does not know. Like, Dan Campbell knows what he does not know, and he puts people in those places. And if those people cannot deliver the bill, you will be out of here. So, yes, I think there is a real case, if it doesn't work out, that Dan Campbell doesn't have a problem bringing somebody in. The only thing is, who is that person? Because Jared Goff has worked with Johnny Mo in 22. He worked with him all off season this year. So to get rid of him after 6 games, that puts you even further behind the 8 ball.
Dan is the man making decisions in Allen Park. And I'm going to make a decision right now because we have no super chats in, and we are 40 minutes into this show. So I'm going to take a moment to let you guys know what we have up today. Of course, the Braylon Edwards signed rookie card. We've got a Lions hat as well as 2 koozies courtesy of Sun Cruiser. And my guy Renan, along with Raleigh and Robert from AMX Records. Shout out VDT merch on Etsy. They sent us a vintage Detroit Techno shirt. It's an extra large. This one's going out to somebody today. Again, get your super chats in. I'm going to put that wheel together. If you super chat $2, you get 1. You super chat 5, you get 3. So get them in. We'll send some of this great stuff home to you. Smash that like. Next number we need to hit is 75. We want to try and hit 200 for the day, but get your super chats in. In terms of a decision I'm going to make, if I'm Dan Campbell, you cannot allow this team and this you guys hearing that?
Oh, that was me. My bad.
Oh, I was like, what's going on over there?
Yeah.
So he's going to have to make a decision, because when it was Anthony Lynn, there was no identity here.
Yeah.
And he wasn't creating one. Maybe we put some offensive numbers up.
Oh, by the way, they had 2 wins.
Exactly. Now, if you end up in week 6 with only 2 wins here, you can promise that he will make a decision on one of these OC DCs, and they will be gone. I don't think that gets to that point with this team. I think they're far too good. But he's the decision maker, and he will have no problem saying goodbye to one of these guys if they get off to that kind of start.
But remember how he made that decision. He made that decision because there were people in-house. Like, he took over when he fired, when he fired, who the heck did you say? Now you got me forgetting the name. When he fired Anthony Lynn, who was actually on the coaching staff with the Browns and Jets that I played for, so my apologies, Agent A. Lynn. But when he fired him, he moved himself into that role. That was in-house, and then eventually Ben Johnson was in-house. If he moves on from Johnny Moe, where's he going? Back to himself?
Well, it worked once.
Listen,
it worked pretty well.
Let's hope to what? 3-13-1?
Was it that year that he took it over? I thought he had a winning record after he took over. We'll have to do some digging.
I feel like he took over during the 3-13-1 season. I think he relinquished the reins halfway through the 22 season.
Okay. Well, I did some digging.
Yeah.
And J.J. McCarthy is disqualified from the Rookie of the Year. It is based on the year you enter the league, not your first year of play. I got to say, though, that guy looked amazing in the second half, and he didn't even know their plays, Bray.
Speak on that. You always got to find a way to get back to the 23 National Championship, which has no asterisk, by the way. Let's have a fun conversation. Let's talk about the NFC North. Since you bring up J.J. McCarthy and the Vikings, who got the win over the Bears, I want to start with Haley. Haley, how would you rank this division so far? I know it's only been week 1, but let's have some fun. 1, 2, 3, 4. Who's team 1 through 4? Go.
On the hot seat.
Man, you on the hot seat, man. You got the Packers, the Vikings, the Lions, the Bears, the Lions, the Vikings. Oh, my.
It's Michael Parsons.
My problem is that I know deep down that I still base a lot of my answers off of bias. I still have a lot of bias. So maybe I'm going to make these answers with, it's just the beginning. We still have a lot to go. Okay.
It's okay.
Okay.
It's all good.
They will hold you to it.
Nah, it's just week 1. It's going to change next week anyway. We'll come up here next week and it'll be different rankings.
I'm just doing it like how I think everything will go throughout. I'm going to say number 1, Lions.
Okay.
Girl.
Number 2, Eagles.
Well, they got to get in the division first. We're talking about the Packers, Vikings, Bears, and Lions, darling.
Shit. Okay.
That's all good.
Number 2, Vikings. Number 3,
it's a tough one.
I wasn't prepared.
It's a tough one. Here, I'll give you mine. And let you think on yours for a second.
Yeah, I can't believe you made me go first, actually.
I was trying to include you. My apologies. I set you up for failure. It won't happen again. This is how I'm a rock and roller right now. I'm going to go with the Packers number 1. They got the win over the Detroit Lions, which most of us still believe are the best team in this division. But right now, it's week 1. It's the Green Bay Packers. Vikings, 2. You can say what you want to about the game yesterday, and it was the Chicago Bears and Caleb Catfish and whatever. I like what Brian Flores' defense looked like. And I like what it looked like once they start to understand that Jordan Mason is the running back for them in that system. So that looked really good. They look better than the Lions, who come in at number 3. I got the Detroit Lions right now. Had a horrible game, but it was game 1. They still have better talent.
You taking them down to 3 after 1 week?
First of all, do you understand what rankings are? Rankings are bi-weekly.
Yeah,
they are not the end of the season. They are bi-weekly. This is what it looks like. The Lions and what they put on the field does not deserve to be 2.
Bi-weekly means every 2 weeks.
I mean, not bi-weekly, but...
Oh, yeah, you're doing the North. Okay, just the North.
No, wait a second, though. Wait a second. Okay.
Like, hold on. Like, I get so sick of coming up here doing shows with these biased Lions fans. Damn, at the end of the day, week 1, who played the best football? The Green Bay Packers played the best football in the North. Game 2, it was the Vikings that played the best game. The third best team, the Detroit Lions.
You didn't think the Bears played better than the Lions?
No, because the offense, I don't trust the running game. They did not run the ball.
They didn't.
And then
but
you
we
had
didn't either.
Well,
I mean, Catfish could run it, actually. He got in the end zone
well,
twice.
in that case, yes, the Lions are 4. You happy? Now you want to talk about that? Exactly.
I wanted somebody to say it.
Exactly.
I wanted somebody to say it. I'm not getting knocked off of my perch off of one loss. Though.
It's not a perch,
This is
though.
still the back-to-back
NFC
North champions.
It's weak. We watch people do lists
You're
all the
time. You're a college guy.
It's a list.
You get that number 1 ranking in week 1 and you lose, but you're still ranked number 9? You know what I'm saying? Like, to me,
but you just proved my point. When you lose, you go down and rank it. It's per week. It's per week. It's a ranking system, Anson.
I can't knock them out of the first spot after 1 week. I just can't do it.
Wow. What's your rankings?
It's Lions 1, Vikings 2, Packers 3, Bears distant four.
The problem with this conversation is we're doing two different things. The way that I structured my show was to say, this week, who's the rank? Like, what's the rank this week? It's not to say who's still going to be here at the end. Because if we're doing it this way, it's a different conversation. I said this week, who is the best team from last week? Who was the second best team from last week? Who was the third and fourth best team from last week?
And look, for me, honestly, it differs just slightly from yours. I actually have the Vikings at number 1, Packers number 2, Lions number 3, and the Bears at number 4. And the reason why is this. I've been bullish on the Vikings for a few years. If y'all remember, you go back, roll the tapes, told people the Vikings would be the biggest threat to the Detroit Lions in the NFC North, and voila, they were. I still give them that credence. And I know that the Packers took out the vaunted Lions. They got some things to figure out right now like last year. And that's where I just didn't want to flip that order with the Vikings and the Packers, because I still do believe that the Vikings are a better team than the Packers. Jordan Love, he still has to show me something. I'm still putting that out there. Even though J.J. McCarthy is new to the game, I believe that he fits, obviously, the Vikings system and their identity. It looked the same. It looked like the way we see the Vikings look the last.
You mean the
years.
team that won 14 games last year and 12 the year before?
Yeah.
And yet everybody's sleeping on them. And they got a guy that can actually move at quarterback. I love the Vikings this year. I've told everybody I think they're the second best team in this division. As much to your point, for your specific question, after 1 week, I can't just put it on the backs of what we saw in 1 week, because there still is a 53-man roster I have to take into account. There's still a coaching staff that I have to take into account, and not to denigrate LaFleur by any means. I think he's a great coach. I'm still ranking the Lions number 1. Okay. That can swiftly change after week 2. I can't get knocked off the perch after week 1. After week 2, if they come out looking the same way, then yes, to your point, this might be the worst team in the division after 2 weeks. But after 1 week, I just can't knock them off of there. With the Packers and Vikings both looking very, very good, it would be easy to say the Packers are the best team right now. But again, I love my evaluation of JJ as well as the Vikings. You saw JJ figuring things out in the first half, and in the second half you saw a very dangerous team. The team in the second half that I saw out of Green Bay doesn't scare me as much.
Got you. That's fair.
Can I answer now?
No, go ahead.
What up, though?
Go ahead.
North. My bad. 1, Lions. 2, Vikings. 3, Packers. 4, Bears.
Okay.
She might have
bullish on those Lions.
She might have the best ranking system in week 11. That's when I think the Lions will be back.
Oh yeah, no, and you know what? For me personally, if the Lions win next week, I'm right back to the Lions being at the top of this thing, because I do believe they're the class of the NFC North. That hasn't changed. Last year, it didn't change when they struggled with the Bucs. It didn't change when they lost to the Packers on Thanksgiving. Yeah. It didn't change when they got rolled up by not just the Ravens, but also the Seahawks too, when they were after the game wearing our ski masks. Mm-hmm. So it's like, for me, I believe Dan Campbell when he says all of these things are correctable. Yeah. He went and he looked at least confident in that. He said, look, we saw the mistakes. We know that we could correct on these things. And when you look at the granular, in reality, they were just missing those big explosive plays. And that's where we're going to have to figure out, was that more a Ben Johnson thing, or is this talent here on this roster and the IQ of Jared Goff, which we've talked about a lot, is that going to be what can also carry this team back to looking like the identity, which, Bray, you were the first to say it, man. They do not look like themselves, and we're hoping that those dogs can get back to basically being those home run hitters. Jahmyr Gibbs, J-Mo, Amon-Ra St. Brown, even Sam Laporta, every now and then, you're hoping that you can see these guys get back to it. And even David Montgomery, I don't even want to leave him out. The most probably undervalued, under-talked about on that offense, and that guy has only gone out there and put up career years with the Detroit Lions. These guys, they're going to be back to it, though, in week 2.
Yeah, they got the opportunity. I mean, look, at the end of the day, like with Jameson Williams, you talk about not being able to protect up front, so he can't get down the field on 4-2, but there are other ways to get a 4-2 wide receiver the ball. They played a lot of man coverage last week. You can run underneath routes. Give the ball to J-Mo on the shallow crossing. How many times have we seen 4-2 guys catch a shallow crossing and get to the house? So there are ways in which you can turn this thing around. But it starts up front, and it starts with the mistakes and the little things. Guys got to dial into what their job is and worry about that. Sometimes it's just so much on them. Everybody's out there thinking about, the next game. They're thinking about the Super Bowl. Graham Glasgow's probably out there thinking, I got to be Frank Ragnow and all these things. No. That's Dan Campbell's job this week. His job this week is to dial the team in. Look, one play, not even game at a time. Like sometimes when you say one game at a time, you get to thinking all the things in the game, and you get to the fourth quarter when it's not even the first quarter. Dial into play after play. And I think if they start with that, that's how you have success. That's how you dial guys back. That's how you bring it back to the team that you know you are. Because talking about mistakes, for me, for the Lions, it's past that. That's something the Raiders can talk about. That's something that insert the Jaguars, insert the Panthers. This isn't what we should be saying to the Detroit Lions after the last 3 seasons of football that they had. We'll get into more of that, but let's get a message in from, this is the car dealership we use, Les Stanford.
Man, that 2025 vehicle class is unbelievable, and Les Stanford Buick and GMC has great offers for everyone. You can see them laid out right there. 2 different Hummers. The EV SUT and the EV SUV for $599 and $699 a month. The 2025 Sierra Double Cab Elevation for $169 a month. That's like 2018 pricing. You've got to get down there, check out these specials, and get yourself into a new ride. Check them out at lesstanford.com. Les Stanford Buick and GMC.
Woodward has just partnered up with Jack's Car Wash, man. So we want you to feel a part of the deal. All you got to do, text WSN to 888-522-1729. Look, Jack's Car Wash is the car wash for you, but also you want to join that unlimited club. That's right. $29.99 gives you access to over 40 locations, and you can get a car wash every day. Free vacuums, free compressed air, free mat cleaning, free everything to get your car right. $29 a month. That's all you got to pay. $30 plus tax. Sounds like a good deal to me, man. Look, Jack's Car Wash. Let them take care of your car.
Every Sunday, there's only one place to get all your kneecapping, hard-hitting Detroit Lions coverage. Start your Sunday with the Lions Weekly Report with Broder and Terry Foster. Then, the Lions pregame show with Neil Rule and Sean Baligian. At kickoff, keep it locked in for all the emotions of the game with a live watch party with the heavyweights. Then, recap the game with the Lions postgame show with Anson. Game days, there's no other place to be than Woodward Sports. Live all game day. Go Lions. The Tigers are the best team in baseball. Get the best coverage in Detroit right here on Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports. Every Scooble start, every green homer, and all the action can be followed on all of our social media. Make sure you like, subscribe, and follow on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. It's World Series or bust, Detroit, and we are here for the ride. Woodward Sports. Hunting season is almost here, Detroit, and your Lions are on the prowl. Make sure you're locked into Woodward Sports for all the Dan Campbell reactions, Jared Goff touchdowns, Amon-Ra first downs, Penny pancakes, Kirby picks, Gibbs big plays, and of course, Jack Fox's leg. Stay locked in on all your Lions coverage right here on Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports. Injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon. Braylon Edwards and Shaq Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Ever wonder what goes on inside the game?
Deep ball's got a man and got him. Touchdown, Braylon Edwards.
Join Braylon Edwards and Shep.
Edwards has it. 10-5, touchdown.
On the Braylon Edwards Show with Shep.
Bar looks in zone. Got Edwards for the touchdown.
Where they dive deep into the heart of sports. Weekdays from 2 to 4 p.m., they're bringing you expert analysis, exclusive interviews, and a fresh perspective on the sports you love. Don't miss it, only on the Woodward Sports Network. of summer are ready to get back to the playoffs, and there's no better place to get your Tigers coverage than Woodward Sports. Join us all season long as we follow as our hometown Tigers claw and fight. This ball is gone! Boys are back in town. Feel the roar with Woodward Sports.
Here's the Injury Insider. Look, he's the guy for you. He's the doc for you. You can catch him on Woodward Sports. You catch him with the heavies on, you can catch him with Big D Energy on Tuesdays. That's today. And then you catch him on our show, Braylon Edwards Show with Shep on Thursday. Scan that QR code above my head. He can diagnose you with anything. Any aches and pains, little things that you have, bring it to the doc. The doc can get you right and get you back in the field of play. You don't even need to be an athlete. He just wants to get you right. 248-426-9944. Go see Dr. Jeff Pierce.
And Sharon's Heating and Cooling. Shout out to our friends over there. They probably have been serving Metro Detroit for over 40 years. Reliable service, treating customers like family. Those are their keys to success. They offer it all. Heating, cooling, indoor air quality, water heaters, whole home generators, and memberships as well. Right now, DTE Gas customers get a free furnace tune-up through December 1st, so you want to make sure you take advantage of that by calling Sharon's Heating and Cooling today at 734-238-3839, or you just scan that QR code right above my head. Make sure you do, and make sure you tell them Woodward Sports sent you.
I swear I started the show with a deep breath. I don't know how we got to where we did in the second hour of the show. Welcome back into the Braylon Edwards Show.
It's too late. Ain't no going back.
Here we are, man.
200 likes and you put them in the headlock.
It's Michigan State, Michigan. You want me to put them in the headlock? Shoot, I do that for free.
Those likes are going to hit 200
I don't need
quick.
it. I don't need it. In fact, let me get over here.
No, man. You see those biceps and bicep factor over here?
I didn't even move. He got a little nervous. He got a little. I'm getting a little nervous on me. Here's a fun conversation. This one's a quick question, and then we can get into Michigan and Michigan State, most notably.
Oh, headlocks are coming then.
No, I don't. No headlocks coming. Like everything that you say about Michigan, for the most part, probably is warranted, and I don't have much to say about Michigan State. They look good so far. We'll see how that goes. But mobile quarterbacks has been a thing. The last 3-4 years, the conversation has come up, and we were able to dodge the conversation with Jared Goff because we had the best offensive line in football. And if you want to say second to the Philadelphia Eagles, fine. We're not tripping. Now with the offensive line looking like they're looking younger, looking newer. They're figuring some things out, figuring positions out.
Looking different. That's
now,
for sure.
More than ever, not having a mobile quarterback is showing.
Yeah.
Do you need a mobile quarterback to win in today's NFL?
You know, like the days of bringing up the Trent Dilfer championship seem to be pretty far in the past.
Yeah.
The last non-mobile quarterback to win one was the GOAT, Tom Brady, at this point. I can't really think of another one in there.
Nick Foles, but like
even
Nick had a little.
Yeah, a little swerve to him.
He had a little bit of Justin Herbert.
He had some Spartan to him as well.
This is true.
This is true for a short minute. But no, you know.
I'm just looking at all the best teams in the league. The Buffalo Bills, you know what they have. The Chargers, Justin Herbert can run. Bo Nix is the guy that can run. Patrick Mahomes, we know what he can do. Joe Burrow, you know what he does. Lamar Jackson, did I even need to say his name? Texans, C.J. Stroud. Like teams that it seems like.
So much has changed since we grew up with Randall Cunningham. A guy that could do both things.
Vic was the one that did it, though.
But nobody wanted any part of Randall back in the day. And then Vic came around and, well, maybe we could talk about this.
Yeah.
But then the narrative was you still can't run with you can't win with a mobile quarterback like that. And back then it was a black quarterback because those were the only ones that were mobile.
Be real about it.
Except Steve Young.
I'm being real. You know I will be. So when it comes down to it, it was Lamar Jackson that changed everything. They trade up to get him at the end of the first round with a 32nd pick. And what is it, round 7, week 8, week 9, they say, it's your squad. And he takes them and changes everything. They're a playoff team. But the key was that offseason, Mr. Harbaugh, John said, we're going to build this team around this quarterback, his legs, his arms, and his brain.
Yeah.
And we watched that become very successful. Not to the tune of a Super Bowl championship yet, but a pair of MVPs, 2 MVP awards, including a unbelievable year last year. And now you're seeing not only NFL teams try and find that and build their rosters around that, but you're seeing the Bryce Underwoods. When was the last time, obviously JJ was a mobile quarterback, but think about all of the upheaval from the Corn and Blue fan base. No, we want Cade, he can throw the ball. This kid can't throw it, all he can do is run. Well, then he wins a national championship. Now you're spending millions of dollars to bring in Bryce Underwood. You look at the game over the weekend, the kid from Oklahoma running all over the place. So it is, we watched the tight end movement happen, and then it became the committee running back thing. Now it's going back to one running back kind of. But one thing that's happened in this last 10 years is not just a movement towards the mobile quarterback, but a full-on commitment from the top to the bottom of rosters, how they're assembling their teams, what their attention they're putting to their offensive line. So guys like Hurts can get a tush push. So guys like Mahomes have time. So guys like Josh Allen can run around and do what he does. So to answer your question, it's a running quarterbacks league now, Bray. It
is. That's because everybody on defense, even the defense line now run 4-3-4-4. Like Micah Parsons is a 4-3 guy. This is not about Micah Parsons, but it is. Like those defensive ends, they're 4-4 guys. They're 4-3 guys. Outside linebackers, they run and do the same. Matt Stafford is the last quarterback, non-mobile, to win. The Los Angeles Rams. And if you want to say he's elite, then that's the conversation too. It takes a Matt Stafford. It takes an Aaron Rodgers who hasn't won in 15 years. But I think that's where it's at. I think if you're not going to have an offensive line that is what the Lions have had, what the Eagles have had, what the Chiefs had, then you got to have a guy that can get outside those tackles because they're coming. You can laugh at that all you want to. I'm not saying Paul's in that. They are coming off those edges every single time a quarterback drops back to pass. You got to have a guy that can run if you're not going to give him the fifth, fourth, third, second, or first best offensive line.
We are only 106 likes away from a headlock.
94 and flip this desk.
Let's get him. Come on. Let's bring up some super chats real quick here. Inkster 2LA, the way the Lions played, can any of it be part of them not playing in the preseason?
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
3 years in a row now, right?
My big thing, too, and this is a good thing, if you're not going to play Penei Sewell, if you're not going to play Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jahmyr Gibbs and Jared Goff, fine. I can't win that battle with you. But you can play Tate Ratledge.
Yeah.
But you could play Christian Mahogany.
Yeah.
You could have played, and I know he's a vet. He ain't a vet at the center position. You could have played Graham Glasgow. There are players that you could play. And also, if your first game of the year is going to be against the Packers, the Chiefs, the Rams, insert team, you got to play these guys in the preseason. If you're starting off against Bryce Young and Carolina Panthers, by all means, that's another preseason game. But you start against a interdivisional rival.
Some arrogance.
I was going to say this really debunks the common misconception that the preseason doesn't matter. Because that's a perfect example. Like, practice is practice.
Mm-hmm.
And since they didn't get it, that probably is a big reason with their performance this game.
And that's been a knock on this team for three straight years now.
Yeah. Well said, too. Also,
and
too.
You know what? That was something that, Braylon, we shared the text before the show where Dan Campbell said, you know what? They might make a little bit different use of preseason in the future. He said with those two guys, and he was talking about on playing Tate Ratledge and Christian Mahogany in the preseason. He says with those two guys, we could have played them a little bit more. But you're not playing against starters. That's why he does like the joint practices. But it was interesting to hear him say, at least admit, that he should have probably played those guys a little bit more. And I wonder how this factors in down the road because you got your offense now for a second year in a row of a Super Bowl expected season trying to find his bearings, and it might take a few weeks, like he said last year, 5 to 6 weeks.
Yeah, and I just let that sink in for a second. You're talking about a guy that you have playing a position, Tate Ratledge playing right guard, and he's never played for the Detroit Lions. He's never played in the NFL, and you wait until you start the season against your divisional rival, the Green Bay Packers, who's pretty good. That's the first time you give him action. I just think you can do better than that because it's not about practice. Yes, you're getting practice when you're going against the Dolphins. You're getting practice when you're doing the joint deals, but you're not getting that sense of rhythm in a game, that circadian rhythm. You're not getting that in the game. You're not getting the pulling up to the stadium, going through your routine, going through warm-ups. I talked about this yesterday, so I won't say it again. You're not getting that when you do it that way. Pause on the Detroit Lions talk. Okay. It's been 4 or 5 years since we've talked about Michigan State and being 2-0 Anson, what did you see from your Michigan State Spartans who got a really good win against Boston College at home in 2 overtimes? Talk about Aiden Childs and the Michigan State Spartans.
Well, Aiden Childs with Nick Marsh in that wide receiver room, the ceiling is truly the limit. My problem with him is just the downfield decision-making. He's right there, but he could go either way.
Okay.
He can have that game where all the mistakes just all fall on top of him and the Spartans at the same time, and the rest of the season could unravel after that. At the same point, he's got a couple of games ahead of him, this USC matchup, where if he can not turn the ball over and continue to play the way we've seen him through those first 2 weeks, that confidence builds. You get it into that Big Ten season, you get some wins under your belts, and then that big matchup in October with Michigan. And right now you're seeing 2 very unique quarterbacks guiding their respective programs, one with some experience, lots of athletic ceiling, the other one with no experience and probably a higher athletic ceiling. I think that Bryce has a higher ceiling for sure. But you see him lost at times. You see him struggling after that first read. You see him trying to do what you see Caleb do a lot, which is overcome a situation where he might not have the best plan in his brain, but he knows that his body has gotten him through it at the high school level, or in Caleb's situation, the college level. But now you've got faster D-backs, you've got quicker response times from a defensive unit as a whole, and I've seen Bryce really struggle with that. These 2 teams are on a collision course, and I think it's even more important to say that these 2 quarterbacks are on a collision course right now. I think that Bryce is only going to get better as he learns the game. It's going to come down to whether Childs or not can stop the mistakes. And if he can stop those mistakes, we might have a very highly ranked game on our hands come the end of October.
Yeah, I think Aiden Childs, once again, stopping the mistakes, the self-inflicted negatives last year in that game against Ohio State, they were right in the game. In fact, it was tied. They were in the red zone twice attempting to score, and he threw interceptions, and he had little miscues that set Michigan State back, and then they got blown out in that game. He's just got to stop those. Like, it looks like he's more leader, more poised, still making some of those mistakes. But my thing isn't on offense, because you got a running back in Frazier that looked okay. The wide receivers, I don't know how Michigan State keeps some pretty good wide receivers when they have a quarterback. I will give you that.
Year after year.
It's on the defensive side of the ball. Like, you can't be giving up 394 yards passing, 4
Not to
touchdowns.
Boston College.
And, oh, by the way, it's not like it was 394 where he had 70 attempts and he was efficient. It was 35 of 42. Mm-hmm. Like, it was an efficient 392 yards. That can't happen moving forward in the season. 2 weeks from now, you do play against USC, Youngstown State, next week. As it relates to Bryce Young, you're right. He played a little bit hero ball as it relates to watching him in Belleville since against Catholic Central, going to that game. Saw some of those things. Saw him show a little bit against New Mexico, but it was New Mexico. You were able to get away with it. Made some of those things against Oklahoma. That's what we're talking about. But Chip Lindsey and him have to get on a better page and a better accord. We understand what the offensive line is not, but that Chip Lindsey has to help him out. You got to get the tall wide receivers in space. Why are you running in reverse with a 6'5" wide receiver that's wearing the number 1? Because I wasn't running reverses. I was catching jump balls over people. I was mossing people. That's what you got a 6'5" wide receiver for, and it's very predictable right now. What it reminded me of, my senior year, we played against Notre Dame. Chad Henne is the starting quarterback. Chad Henne was a freshman. So we beat Miami of Ohio. Game 2, we go down to South Bend. It's South Bend. It's touchdown Jesus. It's the Golden Domes. It's the whole 9 yards. Our offensive coordinator, Scott Loeffler, who was the coach at Bowling Green until this year with Eddie George, he got tight. He didn't want to give Chad that rope to hang himself. If you don't like the metaphor, my apologies. He didn't give him that room for error. He just took it out of his hands. Run, 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 2-yard pass, run, and we lost. We lost to a Notre Dame team. We were better than. We were better than that Notre Dame team. And I tell Brady this all the time. Yes, Brady, we were better than you. But he didn't open it up. And then as that game happened, he opened it up week 3. He had no choice. He opened it up week 4. They got to open it up. You bought this man here $13 million, $10 million, $8 million, whatever the number is, because he's a dynamic quarterback. He gets out on the edges. He's able to get the defensive end in bad position. Allow him to do some of that.
And to your point here, B. Crum in the Super Chat, Bray, how do you feel about Moore not using Bryce as a mobile threat, and your opinion on the way the D looked Saturday?
It's kind of like JJ when he became the starter. Remember, as a freshman, JJ was out there running and cooking. I didn't know JJ was that fast. I still remember watching the Ohio State game, and then in the Big Ten championship, he outran Blake Corum. He ran right by Blake Corum and Donovan Edwards. But then when he became the starting quarterback at Michigan, did we see those runs? Did he run the ball on the outside? Because they were scared of getting their quarterback hurt, and I understand it. But you can't bring him here for one reason. I mean, not one reason. You can't bring him here in part because he's this dynamic dual threat and then say, cut the dual part, and let's put you in the pocket with no offensive line and make you a passing quarterback. You can't have success like that.
And I think that you're right. You've got to take the handcuffs off, so to speak, in terms of Bryce. You've got to let him make plays with his feet. My question, though, and I guess kind of doubling down on what B. Crum is asking, what I've heard a lot of Michigan fans asking is why aren't they designing runs for this guy? Does he make it through a whole season if he ends up running as much as he has to? At least in my opinion, I think he has to run a certain amount for them to make it to the college playoff situation.
Agreed.
And in order to run that much, the amount that he has to run to make it to the college playoff game could really put his career at risk.
Yeah. Another thing that they have to do on the defensive side of the ball, look, we understand what Graham Mason and Grant were, Kenneth Grant. We know how wrecking balls they were. Graham Mason, one of the best defensive linemen in Michigan history. We talked about that. They're gone. Got to get off the field on 3rd and 7. And they got to find that next guy that's going to be able to get to the quarterback, whether it's Aiden Hutchinson, who's no longer there. Then it's Graham Mason, no longer there. David Ojabo, those guys are gone. Who's next up for Michigan in that regard? Because they got to put some pressure in 3rd down situations. They put them in 3rd and long, Anson. The defense got them to 3rd and 7, got them to 3rd and 14, got them to 3rd and 10. And then the running quarterback that's killed Michigan my entire life, the running quarterback material got out of the pocket and he took off. So they got to correct that because they're getting them there. You got to seal the deal to get your offense a little bit changed.
Yeah, you preaching on it because that's what I saw too. There was some encouraging things for Michigan's defense, but it was that contained on a special quarterback like Mateer. And you know what? They're going to face other quarterbacks that possess those types of qualities. So I am hoping that footage, obviously it's not footage that you want to go and burn. You want to be able to look at it and teach these guys how to better have that contained on the quarterback who can get out of the pocket and get some yards, because I think they're going to even face quarterbacks that aren't as special as Mateer, but can still, if they see, there's an opportunity for me to gash this defense on a 3rd and long, you're going to get some quarterbacks to go out there and do that. And that was it to me, because I saw a lot of people who they thought that there was more that Michigan's defense should have brought to the table, when I just thought, I think Mateer's specialness and what he can do with his feet is ultimately what got them confused.
A little bit, too. Haley, what did you see between Aiden Childs in Michigan State and Bryce Underwood in Michigan?
As someone who is a part of the college football show that will be on
there we go.
7:30 tonight.
Plug.
Talk about it. Talk
about a transition.
Hey, I like it.
Okay, so just really briefly, as far as Michigan State and Aiden Childs go, I thought he looked really good. I thought he made some good throws. Of course, he had some mistakes, but luckily, I don't think State really gave Boston College a chance to fully take advantage of those mistakes, which was good. Like you had said, when he limits those turnovers, then the offense could be really, really elite. So I'm very much looking forward to that. As far as Michigan goes, with Bryce Underwood, I don't think they really gave him a chance to drop out of the pocket and make those throws. And I think one thing that could be good for him is just having him run more. I mean, he had one 9-yard run, which was good, but let's see some more of that, and I think that could really help with them moving forward.
Did you think Oklahoma was a really good team, or you just think that they were better than Michigan that day? Well, much better than Michigan that day.
Honestly, I do think they're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's jump into that.
My prediction was that Michigan would win.
Okay. Does anybody stand out right now in college football? If you're looking around the landscape of college football, give me the teams to you that stand out. Are there any teams that stand out to you? Let's start with Anson.
The Convicts, baby.
Miami.
The Convicts, the U.
First of all, that's disrespectful, but you're right.
Is it?
A little bit. I mean,
don't they promote Catholics versus convicts?
But that was BS when they did it then, though.
Was it? I love it.
But I'm not gonna say that, but it was BS.
I wonder if they're selling shirts and making money off of that.
You got these fake Catholics talking about these black players as convicts. Knock it out.
That's true. That's true. No, I grew up. That was my first mini ball. Was a Hurricanes.
It was a hell of a
little
game.
ball. It was. It was a hell of a game, and I think everybody thought that the Hurricanes would not win that. I always like seeing them do well, so that's the team I choose to talk about. Honestly, though, I'm quite excited about Aiden Childs. I think that so much has been made about Bryce Underwood and how bad the Spartans looked last year and how excited everyone was with the way that Michigan finished the year off, that the Spartans, my alumni are coming in under the radar right now. And the USC game would be huge. I mean, it's very possible both teams come in undefeated and ranked in game 4 of the season for both of them. That's the USC-Michigan State game. If Michigan State can dial up a win in that game and be 4-0, confidence is intoxicating, and it's contagious. And I think that those boys in East Lansing can probably show up to that game, and it is in East Lansing versus Michigan, where you're looking at maybe only a 2-loss team. And to your squad over there, I wouldn't be surprised if they show up with only 1 loss. And if we get a rivalry game of that kind of magnitude, it's not 8-0 versus 8-0. But, man, it'll get the juices flowing back on both sides in this state again.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that rivalry. Look, at the end of the day, I enjoy winning, but I don't enjoy winning when the game's not good. Same thing you guys felt for those years. So it's just not fun. Even though we lost in 21, that was a great game. That was a great game. It went down to the wire. K9 put on a hell of a show. That's what you want out of that rivalry. Me, so far, Kool-Aid, Georgia, LSU, Oregon, OSU, Miami, and Penn State.
That's solid.
Those are 5 teams I got right now. Georgia's going to be Georgia. Like, I like the fact that it's still Kirby Smart. Like, he still has his intact. Georgia has money, unlike Alabama. Georgia has much more money than Alabama does, so they're able to keep it, and you still have Big Dog and Kirby Smart. And I think LSU. Like, I think Brian Kelly, this might be the year he puts it together. Big win against Clemson in week 1, which had a really good team, and people were voting for them to do well this year. I like LSU. It's 5 coaches have all won national championship. The LSU, their last 4 coaches. Like, is Brian Kelly the next? So, yeah.
My question for you is putting your own guys out of the equation. If you had to choose between Penn State University and The Ohio State University, who is your pick for the division or the conference, excuse me?
This sucks, but I don't trust James Franklin. I would never pick a team that's coached by James Franklin. As good as the players that have been that have played for Penn State, James Franklin just doesn't get it in the big moment. He can't dial it in. So I wouldn't choose him. It doesn't matter who has played for him. He can't dial it in the big moment. So I'm taking Ohio State.
Did you see, what is it, Brian Kelly, right?
Yeah.
Did you see the nipple ring?
No, it's Ryan Day.
Ryan Day. Did you see the nipple ring?
We talked about it a little bit on our last
Ryan
show.
G-A-Y.
Freak flag. Freak flag.
It makes sense, though. He's painting his...
There's a whole barbell in there, bro.
He's painting his beard. He's painting his hair. You see him do interviews after. He just doesn't seem sure of himself.
Yeah.
Like, this is a very much I don't know who I am move.
It's an Ohio try-hard moment.
I'm surprised you don't call him the original catfish. You talk about a guy who's living a life that's not his now.
He has a whole harem of catfishes.
Harem.
Or catfish.
Harem.
Shish. Harem's a good word.
But no, I wanted to just get your honest take on Ohio State. And you've been really, really fair this year, especially with your Michigan State take. You've been on it from the beginning of the season that you thought they were going to have a decent season, and you wanted to see them have a good season. So that's been a consistent thing by you. It's not just now that they're 2-0. But with Ohio State, obviously when you're talking about University of Michigan football, it's Big Ten titles, it's Rose Bowl, it's beat Ohio State, man. And right now everybody's loving what they are. How do you think that they're going to hold throughout the course of this season, man?
Ohio State? Yeah, I think Ohio State will be all right. I mean, Ohio State always, they figure it out. Like every year they roll in the next top 2 recruiting class. They roll in the next 5-star receiver. They roll in the next 5-star running back, the next 5-star defensive lineman. They got some players on this team that are really good. Like it doesn't come down to the play. It only comes down to one player and one other person. It's the coach. What is Ryan Day going to be in the big moment? And what is Saiyan going to be? You know what I'm saying? I looked at the last name. I said, Saiyan? Like Dragon Ball Z? Like Super Saiyan? Now I'm pissed because I'm like, damn, he can have some cool nicknames. I said, I hope he doesn't go crazy because you already know the first time you go crazy, he's going Super Saiyan. He's going Super Saiyan 3, but that's a cool name, but I digress. it's the quarterback. What is Sayan going to be like, and what is Ryan Day going to be in the big moments? Because they still play Penn State this year. I think they play Oregon again this year, and then obviously at the end of the year.
Exactly that, because that's what it was with Kyle McCord. That's what it's been during Michigan's really run over Ohio State. It's been those quarterbacks didn't live up to it, and Ryan Day, he could not dial it up when it needed to be done. We even saw Sharon Moore. We've seen Harbaugh. We've seen these guys go in, dial up what needed to be done, even when we thought that the play calling was too vanilla. Even when we thought, let J.J. McCarthy air it out just a little bit, they stuck to their guns. They knew exactly what they had over Ryan Day and Ohio State. And that's why I wanted to ask you that question, because we already know what it's going to be all season long. And this is why it sucks a little bit that game has lost a little bit of its value, because I still do believe, even though Michigan has some growing pains they're going to go through, I still do believe they have a little bit of that edge as it relates to when you're talking about Ohio State.
Yeah, at the end of the day, Ohio State, they need a black quarterback to beat Michigan. When they had, I'm being funny. When it was a joke. Everybody got serious. Yeah. That's what they were killing Michigan.
I was just thinking
the running
about
quarterback.
I was thinking about the actual factual relevance and facts.
Hard stop. Running quarterback. That's always been the Ohio State advantage in that game. It was the running quarterback. Yes, they have Travion Henderson. Yes, they have insert Judkins or whoever. Yes, they have 4 or 5 wide receivers: Marvin Harrison, Chris Olave, Jackson Smith. And Jesus Christ, they have some players. But it's the running quarterback to add that last element. Because once those guys aren't open, you can get on the end. Switching conversations back to the NFL. Do we want to take a quick commercial break?
You know what?
Get a read in, pay some bills.
Let's hear from our friends at Black Rock and Lady Jane's.
Black Rock and Lady Jane's. Now, I don't have Lady Jane's, but I do have Black Rock. And the summer of sizzle, guess what? Is very much still here. Looking for that sizzle? Why don't you pull up to Black Rock Bar and Grill? Let them be your dinner for the night, for the day, because they do have brunch specials as well. Pull up to one of the 7 locations. But if you mention Woodward Sports, get you 20% off that bill. That's right. Total food bill, 20% off. That's not bad. Sounds like a fun date to me. Come down to Black Rock and let them be your bar and grill.
From sizzle to simple, you know us dudes love it simple. Like Braylon Edwards filling out a men's large t-shirt. We like uncomplicated. Like Lady Jane's haircuts for men. Walk in, sign in. Before you know it, you are looking good. You're handsome. You're clean. Lady Jane's, open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime, because Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
Planet Fitness now has even more best-in-class strength equipment. Join today for $1 down and save.
We're stepping it up.
We're not slowing down.
Finding new faith, new focus.
Love that new equipment smell.
So, you in?
Join the club today. Save when you join for just $1 down, $15 a month. Planet Fitness. We're all strong on this planet.
Big injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon. Braylon Edwards and Shep Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you. Ever wonder what goes on inside the game?
Deep ball's got a man and got him. Touchdown, Braylon Edwards.
Join Braylon Edwards and Shep.
Edwards has it. 10-5, touchdown.
On the Braylon Edwards Show with Shep.
Ball looks in zone. Got Edwards for the touchdown.
Where they dive deep into the heart of sports. Weekdays from 2 to 4 p.m., they're bringing you expert analysis, exclusive interviews, and a fresh perspective on the sports you love. Don't miss it, only on the Woodward Sports Network. Every Every Sunday, there's only one place to get all your kneecapping, hard-hitting Detroit Lions coverage. Start your Sunday with the Lions Weekly Report with Broder and Terry Foster. Then, the Lions pregame show with Neil Rule and Sean Baligian. At kickoff, keep it locked in for all the emotions of the game with a live watch party with the heavyweights. Then, recap the game with the Lions postgame show with Anson. Game days, there's no other place to be than Woodward Sports. Live all game day. Go Lions.
Listen, we all know it. The best pizza comes from Michigan. And when it comes to the king of Michigan pizza, we are talking about Buddy's Pizza. They've been created the category for the original Detroit-style pizza, and it has been serving it ever since 1946. 22 locations in the great state of Michigan. There is absolutely one near you. It's a cornerstone of our fine city of Detroit, being here for 79 years and is a dedicated community partner. Save 10% off your entire order using promo code 10MIL. You see it right above my head. Again, that's hashtag 10MIL. Go find a location near you or find them at buddyspizza.com.
You know, someone commented that Braylon is really keeping me on my toes today. You know, I get it, I'm the newbie, and that I really need to watch out for that. Ooh, I need to up my relaxation.
There you go.
Well done.
So, because of that, I am going to check out Massage Chair House in Bloomfield Hills, Michigan, the largest massage chair showroom in the Midwest, with top brands for massage chairs like Infinity and Osaki. Located near the corner of Woodward and Long Lake Road, experience luxury comfort with Dr. Eric Duncan, the Wellness Doc, creator of the top YouTube massage chair review channel. Book a visit at www.massagechairhouse.com or scan the QR code right above me. It's Massage Chair House, your ticket to ultimate recovery and relaxation.
She's quick on her tones, and she makes great transitions. Okay, Haley. Okay. Respect. This has been a very fun hour and 32 minutes with you, man. We're going to keep this train moving. Speaking of train, 2 coordinators got off the Detroit Lions train this past season. That would be Aaron Glenn as well as Ben Johnson. We saw one last night and one lost on Sunday to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, we have this conversation. What did you think of the 2 coaches? And obviously, I know who I think had a better week and a better showing, but who do you think had a better week, better showing, and where are you with the coordinators? I'll start with you, Sir Anson.
I thought the Bears looked like the Bears looked last year.
Okay.
I thought that they came out strong and then wilted away in the second and third quarter, and then the fourth quarter they played frantically to come back, made it close, made it a conversation, but ultimately lost. The Jets, on the other hand, look like a completely different team. They have a quarterback now, a quarterback that he's been on a tour of the NFL.
Speaking of Ohio State.
Yeah, 4th city right now in one Justin Fields. And as we talked about earlier, this team embraced a mobile quarterback. They built their team around him. And that team offensively looked very, very good with him at the helm. Now, defensively, this is a team that supposedly has good defensive players, but their former head coach out of Dearborn wasn't able to figure that out. They didn't look great defensively yesterday in terms of the points that they allowed, but in terms of the grit, in terms of the physicality that they brought, you could tell Aaron Glenn is in New York right now. So for me, I didn't see much difference. That first drive looked really scary. Then it just looked like the Bears. But the Jets are somebody that everyone's going to have to pay attention to. And I think you had to pay attention to the Bears last year. So that's not to say that the Bears are a basement-dwelling team. They'd probably win a few divisions in the league. They just happen to be the NFC North. That being said, they will probably be another 8-9 win team, whereas the Jets could flip and double their win total from last year.
I like that. KG, where are you at with either one of these teams, man? AG, looks like this team is trying to turn the corner, and Ben Johnson looks like he's got some work to do, but there were some good things from last night. Where are you with the 2?
Oh, yeah, man. You know, when I saw the Jets obviously winning early in that game, I was like, yo, look at AG go. He's a coordinator that I did believe was going to be able to go and have some success a little bit sooner. And I thought it was because of the type of, the pedigree that he showed here in Detroit. The way that he didn't just kind of coaches guys up, but you're talking about how much did they lose on that defense last year, and they still were able to go 15-2 and be able to have everybody who stepped into the plate, everybody met the assignment, bro. They were signing people off the scrap heap, and they were coming in and doing their thing. Shout out to Uncle Bruce Irvin, the greatest sack in Detroit Lions history.
I was in Seattle when he got drafted, by the way.
Jeez.
Everybody forgets he was actually the number 1 pick for the Seahawks the year Russell Wilson got drafted.
Yeah, and I was preparing this too, and I saw somebody else in the chat say it too. If I see you, Stephen Baffy, Tanner Engstrand sure did look better than Johnny Moe. I will say that. When you talk about Aaron Glenn and a leader and being able to put together your staff and your team, him being able to snag Tanner Engstrand away from the Detroit Lions, I believe was a two-edged sword. One that helps him and one that actually hurt the Lions just a little bit when you're talking about that offensive cohesion here. And so I do believe that the Jets, to have a good foundation, and for him to know that Fields was a guy that he could work with, I give a lot of props to him, man. With Ben Johnson, we know who he is offensively, but it's about, can he run the full team? I have a little bit more faith in Aaron Glenn, but I'm not going to bury Ben Johnson just yet. Not yet.
Yeah, I was a little surprised that Tierney got out of the door. I'm not going to lie. I thought that was going to be the heir apparent for the offensive coordinator. I thought it made a lot of sense. And the concept is promote from within. And that's one that you didn't. So a little bit confusing, although Johnny Moe was here in 22. I'm not going to be so hard on Ben Johnson after game 1. Yes, they fell apart in the fourth quarter. That's something that has to get better. That did look a lot like Matt Eberflus last year. I give you a lot of credit.
Mistakes.
100%, I agree with you on that. I think it does take time. And they have a really good team, and these player-wise, and they have some things there, so they'll get it right. But it wasn't close. Even though they gave up the 17 points to Pittsburgh in the fourth, what Aaron Glenn is doing with that team, and I saw them in camp. Like, I went to New York. I went to Florham Park. I watched it. It just looked so much different from Robert Saleh. Whether it was Robert's fault or not, they looked disciplined. They were paying attention. They were engaged. He was hard coaching them. They were able to stop practice. Hey, look, this is what's going on. Let's break it down. Let's get back into it. You talk about Justin Fields. Justin Fields is a guy that was almost out of the league, essentially, or the backup role, if you will. Now he starts. Justin Fields was 16 to 22, 218 and a touchdown. He also had 50 yards rushing. He also kept the ball clean, as they say. Breece Hall had 100 yards. You look at the Williams brothers on defense. Oh, the Williams brothers and their brothers in real life, they each found a sack. They each found their way to the quarterback and got some pressure. So there's a lot of good work there. Sauce Gardner, he played against DK Metcalf, and what happened? He was the number 1 graded cornerback in week 1. Sauce Gardner was Detroit's own. So there's a lot of good things happening in New York. So kudos. Week 1 goes to Aaron Glenn.
I think so. Their culture, there was a cultureless team. Yeah. Last year, the Bears were a new team, and they were right on the level, close of realizing it, and then Eberflus, he stood in the way. This year, I think they're still right there after week 1. But with the Jets, you just saw a complete 180 in terms of just life. I mean, that team looked like they were actually having fun out there, and I haven't seen that from a Jets team in at least a half decade. I got to shout out Cartier here. I absolutely agree. Rakestraw looked dominant week 1. There's like 7 people. Rakestraw's on IR. B Crumb with a super chat. We're gonna go into college here just real quick.
Go ahead.
I gotta ask this because I've always kind of wondered it too. B Crumb, Bray, were you snubbed of the 2004 Heisman?
Ooh, somebody took it there.
I know, right?
Nah, I wasn't snubbed. Look, I had a really good year that got me to the 3rd overall pick, and I appreciate it. But you look at that year, Cedric Benson, rest in peace for Texas, had 1,900 yards and he was the bell cow for the University of Texas. We knocked him out in the first quarter, thank God, because I was like, we got to play against him. But he had 1,900. Jason White had another crazy year for Oklahoma. I was better than him, though.
Attaboy.
Adrian Peterson, all day. Like Adrian Peterson, yeah, what he did that year, he was 18, or was he an old freshman? He's probably 19, but 1,900 yards as a freshman at Oklahoma, a team that went undefeated. I didn't do that, So no, Adrian Peterson, Cedric Benson, and then Matt Leinart. Like that might have been the best 2 teams that I saw in college were USC 04 and Miami, which is number 1, 2001. And yes, the LSU team. I know all you newbies. Yes, the LSU team is 3, but they weren't better than those two teams. No. So Matt Leinart deserved it. I appreciate the question.
Jason White couldn't hold your coffee, Bray says I'm salty.
You know what? You're absolutely right. So I'll say who you have, AP all day, then you had Leinart, and then you had Cedric Benson.
Modern day's finest, Matt Leinart.
100%. He's a good dude.
Stanley Johnson, also a modern day grad.
Hooper for the Pistons?
Yeah, I wouldn't call him a hooper, but yeah, he played basketball for him.
What else we got? What other
were you a Stanley guy? You were a Stanley guy, weren't you, Kool-Aid?
He's everybody in Detroit.
No, I'm still waiting for the footage of the.
He's like, I'm a Doug Overton guy.
Points or whatever it was at
Never
the OVO
happened.
Classic, and
Never
everybody
happened.
went crazy. Everybody bit for the pump fake, but it was always something about Stanley Johnson's lack of athleticism at the rim that just left so much more to be desired.
He wasn't athletic on the court, but he was getting his Dougie on and all the other dances down the street. There used to be a club down the street everybody went to. What was it called? It was
Blue?
9 Mile. No. 9 Mile in Woodward in Ferndale. It was Bosco.
Oh, the Bosco.
Yeah, he was at Bosco doing all the moves, Euro stepping and everything. Didn't see it on the court though.
Yeah, and did y'all see the little bit of breaking news from Shams Charania on
Talk about it.
One Josh Giddey in the Bulls.
Nearly a Piston at one point.
4 years, $100 million. So now he and Jabari Smith from those draft classes that our young players are from, $25 million a season. I wonder what this is going to mean for Ivy Duran and Asar Thompson.
Yeah, they probably should have beaten them to the punch the way that Mr. Brad does. Get him signed first, set the market, and let the other teams pay later.
That was funny that they announced the day before the game that J-Mo got exercised his contract, got the extension, and then they didn't throw him.
You mean J-Mo Valdez-Scantling?
Yo, did you see the stat about Valdez-Scantling? Like the last 5 teams he's been on? Like each quarterback has been either MVP in the Super Bowl, and 4 of the 5 teams have won the Super Bowl. And now he's with, it's not Buffalo, but it's somebody else is damn good. It's cheating.
Where is he?
Look at what
J-Mo Valdez-Scantling did not go over well with the fans on Sunday night.
Yeah, no, that's disrespect.
I bet it wouldn't.
That's disrespect.
Well, the thing was, is somebody in the chat asked, they're like, where was the $27 million man today? And then young Justin said, well, he averaged 17 yards per catch last year. Well, I went through about 5 years of J-Mo Valdez-Scantling, and he averaged about 16.7 per catch. But no, I'm not trying to compare the two. But yes, man, I mean, you give a guy that kind of money the day before game day, and you hope that he shows up with more than what he showed up with.
The thing about that, too, though, like from the player standpoint, now I'm going to protect my players. Like, where is the game planning to get him the football? Where is the protection to have the time to throw him the football? Because there was another wide receiver that makes $31 million that also didn't have that many catches, and that's Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Mm-hmm.
He was open, and you still saw when he threw in the pass, a hell of a catch. He's always going to catch. He's always going to be open. But it's not about him being open. It's about getting him the actual football.
The chat's so mad over the J-Mo
I knew
Valdez-Scantling.
Rightfully so. You deserve that.
Well,
you deserve it.
J-Mo is the most deflected player in Detroit sports history.
Because he's like our baby.
I love him.
He's like our baby.
But have you ever seen a player more protected in your sports history here in Detroit?
Dennis Rodman.
He hadn't lost it
I'm
yet.
joking. I'm
Okay,
being funny.
he lost it after he left.
Yeah.
You know?
I feel like because J-Mo hasn't done anything crazy. It's just like it's immature, stupid stuff that you drafted a 19-year-old.
Yeah, he's the ultimate lightning
He was
rod.
19.
He is the ultimate
He turned
lightning
20
rod.
after the draft, or like a year later. Yeah, so
Quite a polarizing figure here in Detroit.
but I'm glad that people love him. You know what I'm saying? Because he's gonna reward you. Just give it time. It takes patience and time. Just like it took me time to think about these last 2 days, come here and have the conversation today about the Lions and what they can be. It takes time. Christian Mahogany will get it figured out. Tate Rowledge, he has a lot of upside. He has a lot of potential, but it's going to take time because Graham Glasgow has to be the guy to figure it out first. Graham Glasgow had the lowest score for the offensive line and the lowest score on the offense in terms of PFF rating. We talked about that yesterday. It just can't happen. He is a vet, and he is the guy, for whatever reason, they chose him. Like, Graham, they chose you to be center. So Graham will step up. Graham will figure it out. He's filling some major shoes in Frank Ragnow. I know a lot of people were tweeting Frank on Sunday night and Monday morning, understandably so. Get out of the water and get your butt back in Allen Park. But it takes time. And you just told me about a coach that is good at fixing things, and you have a track record of him fixing things. So this is a good week for us to hit the chill pill, but it's a really good week for Dan Campbell to dial back into the basics, because sometimes when you get when you're a winning team and you just get into, oh, we're good. We don't have to play in the preseason. We're just jump into it. We'll win because that's what's happened the last 2 games. Didn't play the preseason, glossed over a lot of things that were going on wrong. But what happened? You get a win in overtime against the Rams to start the season last year. We'll figure it out. What happened the year before that? You win against the Kansas City Chiefs in Arrowhead. Oh, we're good. We can figure it out. You lost this time. So now it looks different. Now it hits a little harder, especially when how the season ended, what the expectations are. I think the fans are pressing, and I ain't gonna lie, I think the players were pressing. I think Dan Campbell was pressing. I think Johnny Moe wasn't pressing enough. But it was week 1, and they will figure it out because he is the coach that we trust. He is the coach that we believe in. So, we'll give him this rope.
And Braylon, on Monday, when this team is 1-1 for the 3rd straight season in a row, I don't want to hear all of you guys crying and talking about firing people and talking about the windows closed. The people that are all mad in here at JMO, you guys are also the people saying that we're not going to win 10 games, man. Figure yourself out. I want to figure out the answer to another question, though. I don't know if they're ready for it. It's one you and I talked about back in the office, and it is a game that Lions fans would want more. You want to finish up with that?
No. This is your thing. I like it. Go ahead.
Okay, so we got 14 minutes here. You got 9 minutes to get your super chats in, get you a chance to get on the wheel to take home all this great stuff. Smash that like button. We need 22 to hit 150. I got a question for you, Detroit Nation.
Pose it to Haley. Haley's on the clock.
There we go.
Haley's on the clock.
We're starting off with you
this
first
again. This is a good one, though, Haley. This is a good one.
This is a good one.
It's a good one.
All right. NFC Championship game this year is played in Detroit. And you lose.
So that means the Lions have number 1 seed, by the way.
And
just throwing that
you
out
either
there.
lose to Matt Stafford and the Rams, or you lose to the Bears and Ben Johnson. Which one hurts worse?
Bears.
Oh.
I still mess with Matt Stafford. I told you. And I was
right when I was starting to like you.
I was talking to my dad because he has all these old or older Lions jerseys, and I was like, Dad, I'm gonna need to start going through your closet, you know what I mean? And he said, maybe not to work, but it wouldn't be horrible if you still wore Matthew Stafford, but don't wear Ndamukong Suh.
Ooh, I'd rather see you in a Sue jersey than a Stafford jersey. I'll be honest with you.
I wouldn't wear it here.
Sue made some comments last week that
he did.
I think opened up a lot of the people that either moved past Sue or were cool with it. The conversation that he had last week or 2 weeks ago, even for me, who's a defender of players, I always will be. I was like, what are you expecting though? What do you want? What do you want, Sue? what do you want? Shout out. I like her answer though. I'm gonna get Kool-Aid before I give mine. I like your answer though. Kool-Aid.
Yes,
NFC
sir.
Championship, which means the Lions have either number 1 seed or they're the last highest seed remaining.
Yeah.
Would you rather them lose, which sounds crazy, to Ben Johnson or to Matthew Stafford?
Look, I would rather them lose, honestly, to Matthew Stafford. You can't lose to Benedict Arnold. You cannot lose to Caleb Williams. I want to so badly call him the name that Anson does, but you can't. Look, Matthew Stafford at least is a Super Bowl winner. Matthew Stafford at least is still one of your best quarterbacks in your franchise's history. You can stomach that just a little bit more than an upstart Bears team who you have owned, absolutely owned, that came out of nowhere and beat you, because this is what would happen now. They would be beating you with your own plays. You would be getting beat by yourself.
That'd be like
that would be too much to take, bro. And then Ben Johnson's little smile, I just can't take it. I just keep thinking about the little sweater vest. I can't. No,
Braylon,
no.
He might have changed my mind.
I'm done thinking about this.
So Anson asked
I can't lose to the Bears.
Anson asked me this question before the show, and it wasn't even a hard one. Much like Haley was quick, much like Kool-Aid was quick. It is definitely Ben Johnson. It's definitely Ben Johnson. There are people here that won't admit it that still like Matt Stafford. There are people in the state that won't admit it out loud.
Detroit
Hit him with a poll.
When it was Los Angeles, when it was Detroit West, when they were in the Super Bowl, a lot of you bought shirts. A lot of you had on them a lot of them had on them Lions West shirts. A lot of them did. So that's why I knew that it wouldn't be Matt Stafford. But I'll tell you this. If it was Matt Stafford with no Super Bowl,
Oh, yeah.
And, like, if Matt hadn't won the Super Bowl, and this would be the first Super, because you're really asking, who could we stomach winning the Super Bowl? Because that's what game comes next. If it was Matt Stafford, the answer would be Matt Stafford. Because you'd be like, hell no, he can't win the Super Bowl.
100%.
Him, he can't win.
100%.
That's a great point.
That's a great
He can't
point,
win.
That's
he's
a
won one
great
already, so you're
point.
really like, he's won one. Who cares? Ben Johnson can't win.
Yeah, because
one.
I'd rather him get back and get a second one than Ben get his first. You guys have made some compelling arguments here,
Good
man.
conversation.
I thought it was so easily Stafford for me. I'm reading through the chat here. I'd rather lose to the Rams. Two guys saying that they'd hate losing to Stafford more. Ben Johnson would be worse. One guy says he'd be back to being the Detroit Rams.
See?
Ben Johnson would be worse.
I told you.
Hold
hold on. If he be back to being the Detroit Rams, then you know what that means. That means there's no faith in the current administration. If he's back, if I'll be back to being, which means I'm supporting someone that's no longer here, because I don't believe in my squad.
Brad, what is this? Where is the Institute to LA Bears? But it's very close.
I like that.
Very close. It is super close for me. It was when Kool-Aid said Caleb. He didn't say catfish. But yes, it would be more than just Ben Johnson. And I am so on the books with catfish.
Man, give it
Williams.
What did Caleb Williams do to you? What did this man do to you? You saw him in the airport. He didn't give you an autograph or something.
Oh, man. And you know he'd be all nice to me, and I'd come back on the show and be like, well, I met Caleb. Exactly.
Caleb.
I met Caleb over the weekend.
Yeah.
Oh, man. You guys, I'm not happy. I thought I would be the only one here going Stafford, but my hat's off to the three of you. You've changed my mind. It would be worse. It would be worse to lose to the Bears. Now, next year, if the Bears win a championship and we're talking both, maybe it's a different story. But no, the catfish is the ultimate caveat. I appreciate you pointing that out, Kool-Aid. Official and final answer, the Bears.
The Bears. Shout out to Saturday Night Live. Hey, look, I wouldn't be doing my job if we didn't transition talk about the Detroit Tigers and Yankees tonight just for a second. Exactly. Just want to get you. Well, they're still number 2 in the AL. No, they had a rough week. Lost the series to the White Sox, which I don't know how it's even possible. Wow. But here we are. They got a break last night. And they also got a break in the sense that Michigan lost, and the following day, the Lions lost. So no one even cared what the Detroit Tigers did.
Just skated on by.
100%. But we don't talk about it now. They play the Yankees tonight. 80-63 versus 82-62. What do you want to see from this team tonight that's been struggling? They are 36-36 since the All-Star break.
Offense.
Or 26-26.
Offense.
Yeah. Offense. Talk about it.
The pitching's actually been very good. If you look at us, we're a top 10 pitching team. I think
because
top
of one
9.
person.
Well, because of one person, but also Finnegan has been fantastic.
He's injured.
Rafael Montero, after not looking very good, has, I think, gone, 8 or 9 appearances without a run. You know, Uncle Charlie Morton looks like he can fill a good 4 innings in any game you call on him in a playoff series. But the offense, one game they put up 9, another game they put up 1 or 2. There is zero consistency. There's no protection in the order. People telling me that Riley Green is a future Hall of Famer. Pass the crack, bro, because I don't know what you guys are on. I like him. I think he's really good, but there's a lot of things that he doesn't do well. And he would be a monster if you had 1 or 2 other bats protecting him. Now, I know we tried to get Bregman. I know we went flat for offense at the trade deadline. And I still think that this team is very early in their window. They will add offense to them. But until this team finds some offense from a guy like Dingler or Kerry Carpenter on a consistent basis, I don't care how good Scooble is. You got to score some runs.
Yeah, Kool-Aid, where you at with that? Because I believe that they put some points on the board. Problem is the key moments. They're not showing up. They're leaving runners stranded at the corners. They're leaving runners in scoring position. I saw 3 instances in the last game where they had guys on second and third, no outs.
Yeah,
and they didn't come away with runs. That has to change.
And you know what? You're exactly right, because you guys feel that it's a little brisk out, right? It's fall. I hear October knocking, bro.
Is around the corner.
I hear October knocking. So for me, what am I looking at in this series? Yeah. I'll start with the third game of the series. It's undecided. And then the second game of the series is Jack Flaherty, and then the third one is Casey Mize. When you're talking about the playoffs, what is our rotation? Yeah. Who are these guys as we're going down the stretch? And that's something that Matt Shepard called out before any of us were worried. He said, do they have a playoff number 2? I said, yeah, they got Casey Mize. Just 2 weeks went by, and it was like, and yes, we see them kind of up, kind of down, kind of up, kind of down. Jack Flaherty is another one that's kind of been on my concern radar all year. So I'm looking for these guys to go against the Yankees, a team that has a similar record, and go out there and acquit themselves well in this series. That's what I'm looking forward to. Start with Casey Mize on the bump first for the Detroit Tigers.
Yeah, Kool-Aid rocking that dope Gotham Knight shirt. Dope shirt right there. You're absolutely correct. You know, and the thing is, we're talking playoffs now. We're not talking about the rest of the season.
Yeah, they're going to win this division.
The Tigers are going to win the division. They're 8.5 games up right now in the Kansas City Royals. They won't catch them. So it's no need to talk about the finish. It's to talk about what does it look like when we get to October. What does this playoff run for the Tigers look like? You know, are we a team that's going to go in the first round and lose? Are we a team that's going to do what we did last year? Are we a team that we believe can get to the ALCS and actually get to that next step? That's what we'll be facing. That's what we'll be facing. All right, Kool-Aid. 355. Let's see what the mailbag is talking about.
Definitely. Let's say what up, though, to a couple friends.
What up, though?
Yeah, because we got the college football show I got to tell people about. And then they got some bets that they're going to have to lay as well. And Haley's going to tell them about that right after this. Hey, look, it's Woodward Sports College Football Show live every Tuesday, 7:30. You guys see a familiar face there. It's hosted by that dude, Justin Satawa, and Haley Scott, who's in the sound booth today. They've been crushing it every Tuesday at 7:30. Look, stay locked in because they got everything covered, man. College football season from touchdown to tailgates, rivalries to rankings. So don't miss a minute of the Woodward Sports College Football Show. And you know what, Haley? Let them know where they can go and lay those bets down.
You know where you can go? Caesars Sportsbook. So what if I told you could place any bet up to $1,000, and if you lose, you get that back right away? Would you think I'm crazy? Scan this QR code right above me, use the code Woodward1000, and if your first bet doesn't hit, you'll get your deposit right back up to $1,000. That's right, up to $1,000 back just for giving it a shot. And the best thing about it is that the minimum payment is just $20. Download the Caesars Sportsbook app today, the official sportsbook of Woodward Sports. Use code Woodward1000 or scan the QR code right above me.
Hey, you know what? Right back to me because we got to get things started off with this mailbag. And you know what? I got to ask you about one J.J. McCarthy because I'm bullish. Yeah. I'm very, very bullish about what the Vikings can be as the second team in the NFC North, man. And J.J., he was looking official out there. Braylon. If you could, just your quick take on one J.J. McCarthy.
Yeah, J.J. was official yesterday. You know, Matt Shepard and I picked them to win this game as well as you, Kool-Aid, and Anson talked about it today. J.J. is a guy that is a leader. He's poised. You saw what he did at the University of Michigan. He's a leader by trade. That's why Jim Harbaugh made those comments about him. A lot of people didn't like the comments, and they thought he was trying to sell J.J. McCarthy as the best quarterback that he's ever played with. Simply put, he's a leader. He's patient, he's calm, he's chill, and he's not about anything other than winning. Yesterday after the game, they asked him, you know, what's next for you? And you win at home in Chicago and all these things. He said, look, man, we won. Now it's on to the next week and the next team. That's the type of guy he is. That's what the players grew to love in Ann Arbor, and that's what the players are going to grow to love in Minnesota. He is a guy that can throw a pick six, and then in the next quarter, he can figure it out and then lead you back to it. Not one touchdown, not two touchdowns, but a 3-touchdown fourth quarter in which you take over in Chicago and you beat Ben Johnson and the Chicago Bears and Caleb Williams, who was in your draft class and went number 1 overall. And he does it with a smile on his face. So week 1 in the books for JJ, he's 1-0. He still's got that smile. Love seeing him have success. It looks very similar to what it did in Ann Arbor. He is a leader. He goes out there and does his job, and you won't hear anything about this game. It'll be on to the next, like Hov said. So shout out to J.J. McCarthy. Keep this thing rocking and rolling. Michigan, finally, we have something to talk about this season.
Zero smile after his go-ahead touchdown. Did you see the look he gave his whole sideline? Like,
let me see that look again, Brian.
I'm here. That's when you locked in.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see that look.
Yeah. Right. It was
scowl.
I'm not gonna lie. I got goosebumps.
I did too.
I got goosebumps watching because I've seen that look before. I've made that look before. I know what that look means. That is a guy that was in the zone.
Oh, yeah.
Like, very rarely do you get a chance to go to the abyss. Like, that's that abyss. You can say what you want to about the stats. I'm talking about that moment. In that fourth quarter, he knew it was going to happen. He dialed into it. It's almost like Tom Brady on the bench, 28-3.
With a player that's still just figuring it out. And you know what? Another player that we're hoping figures it out. Jordan from MI, he says, mailbag, is it time to start worrying about Terrion Arnold yet? Do we still think he can be elite? And I know we just got like a little bit of overtime left in this thing, but TA is what's on some people's minds.
And it should be. Look, I won't start with TA. He didn't necessarily play the best. Start with the defensive line up front. You got to get pass rush. If you get pass rush, it makes the job a little bit easier for DJ Reed as well as Terrion Arnold. But I'm not letting him off the hook. He didn't necessarily look good, and this was early in the play. He was getting beat off the line of scrimmage, so is DJ Reed. So they both have to be better, but I'll chill because in order for defense to do the job, you have to have a pass rush. I don't care if you're Patrick Surtain, Sauce Gardner, Dion. If you don't have a pass rush, it's only so much you can do because I don't care. You cannot guard a wide receiver for 7 seconds. You just cannot. I don't care who you are. You're not going to be able to do it. Look, that's our show today. We appreciate you. Shout out to Haley, filling in, coming and ready to get down. You got the wheel?
Let's
spin it now while we're talking, while I'm talking. Spin it. Haley, great job by you. Kool-Aid, appreciate you being my right-hand Anson.
Always a good time.
This is what we do, brother.
Yes, sir.
This is always a good
Yes,
time
sir.
with Anson Wilson. Thank you to you, the people out there that have rocked with us for 4 years and have stayed with us in the new transition. We appreciate you, and we're going to keep this thing rocking and rolling and getting better and better. New sponsors. New sponsor alert. New sponsor alert.
B. Crumb, you're the winner. I need you to email your first, last, and shipping address to Anson at woodwardsports.com. Anson at Woodward Sports. Let me ship off.
And don't
this
blow him
prize
up with
pack.
all the extra stuff, man. Just only about this event, nothing else. All right, we'll see you guys mañana. Go Tigers!
Ever wonder what goes on inside the game?
Deep ball's got a man and got him. Touchdown, Braylon Edwards.
Join Braylon Edwards and Shep
Edwards has it. 10-5, touchdown.
on the Braylon Edwards Show with Shep,
Bar looks in zone. Got Edwards for the touchdown.
where they dive deep into the heart of sports. Weekdays from 2 to 4 p.m., they're bringing you expert analysis, exclusive interviews, and a fresh perspective on the sports you love. Don't miss it, only on the Woodward Sports Network.